Chris Cody, Zaslow doesn't know what's real and what's bit around here. So
trying.
I will just tell you that Greg Cody is not a show removed from sticking out his chest, preening and saying, I'm a very punctual person. And I'm looking at a seat next to me that's empty. Your father's not yet here. He said he was going to be here. He is clearly late, and he's already steaming because he was as insulted as he's ever been by me being an asshole to you 2 days ago.
Yes, he was, and he's often late, and I've criticized him. I don't think he leaves early enough, and everyone gets mad at me when I say it. So I don't
you
know what to
notice
do.
I've adjusted, right? Because I was late, and now
Zaslow will never be late again.
I don't stop for coffee anymore. I make my own now.
Well, Joy Taylor does accuse you, though, of one time walking in late with coffee, which I think you should have learned the lesson there.
It took 10 years, but he finally figured it out.
Longer.
Make the coffee here.
Mike, Tony, Amin, does anyone in our company have an explanation? I ask this genuinely curious because I do not know. Stugotz was on the schedule 3 or 4 days this week and has not appeared, and Zaslow has rushed into the breach every time. Do you guys know what's going on with Stugotz?
Check my bank account's looking good.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, absolutely. You see what's going on in Newark? Sean Duffy, man, in over his head.
It's wicked
bad.
wild.
It's
wicked.
bad.
Chowder.
Zaslow came in here today, and he is he's betrayed Amin.
Really, we're doing this already.
Look. You're going to fit right in around here. You're going to fit right in because
we work our way to this.
No. You're not going to deny that you've betrayed Amin already. That you're not only are you sitting in Stugotz's seat and literally counting what used to be his money. You're sitting in the seat and you're coming in and you want to bet.
Look at the way Amin is staring at me too.
Well, Amin, you're going to
Can't see it because we're not on air.
Grilling me.
Amin, you're going to be horrified by the level of this betrayal as a fellow hustler like Zaz who realizes that there are money trees all around us.
Point them out to me, please.
Zaslow, I'm going to point one out to you because Zaslow has betrayed you on it. You pretend like point them out to me, but you gave him one. You have so many money trees around you that you just gave one to Zaslow and he betrayed you with it.
It wasn't on purpose, though.
Oh, you're admitting it now.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I want to call it a betrayal. Like, I did something that is for me and that is helping me. It really shouldn't have anything to do with Amin. He may look at it as a betrayal. I just did something that helped me.
It is a betrayal, though.
This is about Cameo, isn't it? Oh, my God. I took you under my wing.
What do you mean you took me under your wing?
I'm the one that showed you were lost. You didn't know how does the camera work? Does the portrait mode, landscape? I'm like, no, listen to me. This is how you do it. And I said, sign up under my referral code at Darth Amin.
Right.
You guys can request right now, by the way, if you're listening. And I was going to show you the way.
Tony.
Well, you can also request me a 10-day Tony.
I was going to say, what about my code? Did you use my code? Is that what
I don't just, what am I supposed to guess what everyone's code is?
You're supposed to text me, hey, Amin, about to do this.
Everyone stop. Everyone back off. Tony.
Yeah, back off.
Tony's face on that, because this is funny. This is legitimate funny. Amin saying, where are all the money trees? Tony's one of the best hustlers we have. Tony knows how to hustle. Miami hustle. Not Fugazi Amin hustle.
Whoa, wait a second. Hold on.
I'm not finished with you yet.
No, I'm not finished with you yet.
I'm not done betraying you yet.
You let him talk to you like that?
Tony, you just made a face at how slow Amin got in there with his panhandling on Cameo, and then right behind him, like me driving behind an ambulance when there's traffic in Miami, right behind him, you threw your Cameo
Little fastball
out.
in there, Dano. 10-day Tony. It's not Blake's fault.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chatting the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me. mouth, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go on, man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, right girls, let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
I got to be honest with you. As much fun as it is to watch basketball's biggest names leave the stage so we can have new ones, I'm genuinely stunned by how I'm watching these playoffs, because we talked about Golden State and the Lakers all season. And the way that I watched Golden State last night and the way that I've watched these playoffs have made me, for the first time in my life that doesn't involve Nick Saban, someone who vigorously hates that I am rooting for Jimmy Butler to go down in flames. Like, I can't even believe how my objectivity has flown out the window on this. It was just, I was really happy last night, really happy that Jimmy finally found his joy again.
We're doing this, huh? That's the show we're doing. Yeah. Because last night was awesome.
This is a good morning.
Last night was wicked
There's some
awesome.
good stuff happening.
He's ass.
Harvard.
The text I got last night, immediately after the game, is a text I think you guys would want to see. Because in the first round, we said, hey, guys, Jimmy won the Miami thing. And the second round, we're saying, oh, look, Miami wins it forever because the window is closed on the era of Jimmy. That closes, right? I can't believe he was in the era. The idea, let me explain to you what Miami did for Jimmy the last 5 years that it did and helped LeBron with. It was a lot better player, obviously, in 2010. What it is that Miami did for Jimmy. And Jimmy, it would go to Jimmy's head. Of course it would. In 5 years, Jimmy Butler went from a player none of us thought could be much better than a 1 on an 8 seed, a 1 on a 7 seed, a 1 on a 6 seed, because that's what we thought he was. Then he goes to Philadelphia, goes to Minnesota, builds his legend, but builds it in a way none of us have ever seen in the playoffs, ever. 0 40-point games regular season, 8 40-point games postseason. There's a playoff Jimmy. Well, yes, there was. We all saw it. It was amazing. It was the prime of his career, and he's gone. And now it's pump fake Jimmy. And pump fake Jimmy is different than playoff Jimmy. Pump fake Jimmy is 10 years of what basketball does to the body, and 35-year-olds generally age, and they're not all LeBron. LeBron's changed the science.
11 field goal attempts. What a joke.
What time you get this text? What time?
It was after that game.
It was after that game? Well, we can rule out Pat the Rat because that guy ain't up there.
Hey, this isn't the time to do that.
Oh, no, this guy's already going with the propaganda. What did he do for Jimmy? Come on, man. Jimmy carried their ass.
Cape Cod.
Jimmy did carry their ass for 5 years.
They did nothing for Jimmy. They surrounded him by Max Strus. Come on, let's get real.
Hold on a second. That's the text I got. I'm not Max Strus. I will tell you what that text is at some point. I will never tell you who it was from. I'm guessing you can all guess who it was from.
I mean, another stand situation.
Lobster roll.
What's a stand situation?
Yeah, like remember the Bam text last year that you denied it was Stan,
Yeah,
but we all thought
it
it
was
was Stan?
obviously Stan Van Gundy.
It wasn't Stan. Like, you guys put me in such a bad spot there. Such a bad
Well, you got
spot.
two coaches that are friends. One pushed the other one out. It's got to be awkward for you.
I hate your accent so much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ted Williams.
All right. We'll get to Jimmy, because that hate is also fun.
I don't think you've talked about Jimmy enough over the last few months.
So I'm going to okay, good call, Boston guy.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Here is what I am here. I'm here to say this to America, and I want the sound. You guys have the video of these guys yesterday doing what it is that they did to the Boston Celtics before that game last night at the suggestion that the Celtics could come back against the New York Knicks down 3-1 without Jason Tatum. And I went to bed last night after this tumult of hate and celebration of hate. I went to bed last night knowing that our show runs the risk epically because of what it is it did yesterday, laughing in the face of a champion, a worthy champion. A champion you should respect that you don't respect enough because they got the faster car and it was made to look easy. That champion has beat the holy hell out of the league for 2 years. And I will tell you that the difference, I wonder if you think this is true, what I'm about to say. The difference between the Celtics and the rest of the Eastern Conference, except for the Cavs this year, even if I remove Jason Tatum from it, I'm just merely now making the Celtics about as good as the Knicks because Derek White and Jaylen Brown and Porzingis.
Dogs.
And if Drew Holiday's your fourth, you've got a team that could beat an inconsistent Knicks team that can absolutely have the wheels fall apart in a way that crushes the best feeling in New York in 25 years.
Dan, they were down 3-1 with Jason Tatum. They're down. So you can't say, even without Jason Tatum, they were down 3-1 with Jason Tatum. They won a game. This is like the Thunder.
They won a home game.
Yeah, this is like the Thunder losing game one. You're like, they won a game.
Don't discount the heart of a champion. And also, you forgot a name. You didn't mention Luke Cornett, the White Howard.
Bubla.
Derek White.
Dan?
No, we know this.
Top 100
No,
player.
hold on. We didn't know
Top
this.
100 player.
We didn't know this.
No.
I told you he was your best player.
We tried to tell you.
We tried to
tell you yesterday.
You
and
listened
you
and
laughed
said,
at
no,
us.
Jason
I said
Tatum.
games that I saw with my
I
own
said
eyes.
Derek White is the best
I asked him
player.
about other
How many
people's
times
eyes.
do I
He
have to
said
tell
he
you
didn't
that?
know.
We got that Kobe cosplay out of the way now.
As you were.
Boston, without Jason Tatum, can beat everyone remaining except OKC.
Specifically because they're missing Jason Tatum.
No way.
Yeah, way.
Boston. Okay, let me
Yawkey.
make sure I heard that properly.
Way.
This version of Boston, this team right now would beat Minnesota.
I'm saying can beat Minnesota because they'll shoot from threes. Guys, just so you know, I'm sure the Celtics are like a 2-point dog in this game going to the You have clearly not been watching Knicks basketball this season. I know you trust Brunson. If you don't think that Knicks team can be undone by 25 years of being that Knicks team and the fact that they haven't closed out someone for those fans since 1999. That team is up and down, and it is ready to turn on Bridges if Bridges decides to go 1 for 11 on a night at their garden. Where you guys are crazy if you don't think that the Knicks can blow this.
Knicks are a 2.5-point favorite tomorrow night.
You're nuts. If I tell you somebody's going to win in a game, you're crazy if you don't think that the Celtics can beat the Knicks 2 more times.
Where's the pushback that you're getting? We organically flipped last night watching the heart of a champion over there with Derek White. Finally getting more volume because we got Jason Tatum out of the way. This is exactly how efficient Derek White. This is exactly how he turns organically. Now we realize with Tatum out of the way, the narrative can push forward that he's not a good basketball player, and now we want New York to be embarrassed.
I hate your voice, man.
Bang a Yui.
Your voice, your accent. I hate it so much. This is not what I thought I was walking into this morning.
We're no longer Knicks guys over here. We want the Knicks to be embarrassed because it's funny.
Grinder.
WDEI.
That imaging is shitty. I know, but look. They know how to do radio in Boston, okay? They do. They've been making fun of
get the joke?
how we do radio. Look, that's
Bunch of Cubans.
That's the production that we've got on our WDEI imaging.
WDEI. Sent by American.
That sounds like a sound from Adam West's
Batman.
in
I was-
the 60s.
You know too, bro. I was like,
just about
what?
to
What
say
kind of
that.
imaging is that? How are we trying to keep up with the kids?
Kapow!
We got better voices, too.
You people are insane if you do not believe. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
We all believe. We all believe
No,
the
we
Knicks
don't.
can blow
Amin
this.
doesn't believe.
No, Amin believes.
Dan, I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for that to happen because then that's the maximum amount of chaos that brings me joy in life. I have an entire family and a group chat full of people who have lived on cloud nine for the last 4 or 5 days, right? This is the best time of their lives. Literally. I'm talking about birth of children, marriage, all that stuff. Nope. This is it.
So pathetic. Having 3 wins in round 2. It's the best time of their life.
Yeah, precisely. With one pop of an Achilles, we got a dream scenario over here. This is really lining up perfectly because you set up the Knicks with all this hope. They're already buying the tickets on Game Time for the NBA Finals because they think that Jason Tatum being out is a bad thing. But we here on the show have always known he's a massively overrated player, and we've always known that Derek White is the key to their success. This is perfect.
Don't forget about Luke Cornett.
The White Howard.
Yeah.
Greg Cody has arrived. He is fashionably late. He's getting makeup in the other room. As I mentioned, he's enraged. Chris, do you want to take the audience? It was lovely, actually, to see the audience gather together, rally, and show a great deal of love in calling me an asshole for the way that I treated you on Tuesday with your father. And now your father comes in enraged, and I've often said your father enraged is the best Cody there is. That's the one we want to play with.
He's got like this smirk to him that I think he's actually really mad. You know, like when he's playing along, I don't know.
Zaz never knows. So
Look
Zaz,
at him.
all right, Zaz,
I don't know.
Zaz, what's the
I don't
prediction?
know.
There, look, Mike, wouldn't you say as a producer for the talent that is Greg Cody over 20 years, that not unlike my father, there have been any number of challenging situations because the talent wishes to be treated like talent?
Yeah, there's a point of no return when it comes to Greg Cody, that you lose him for the day. And I think we're already over there. And his head already seems to be spinning. I cannot wait for him to find out that we're a Celtics show now.
WDEI. All right, let's just see how he reacts to that. It's very strange that we would go Batman imaging from the 60s to try and keep up with AI and modern technology. I don't know whose decision that was. I don't think that's how we fight them in the streaming age. WDEI.
By the way, how about that Brad Marchand?
Tony.
How about that Brad Marchand last night? Chirping? You want to chirp our players? Brad Marchand, you're skating to the bench, not so fast. Not so fast. You don't chirp a Florida Panther. WDEI.
Tony, please don't stop doing that. I'm telling you.
How did we all get to the same conclusion?
Tony,
you, me, and Amin.
Tony,
in a triangular fashion.
Tony,
Adam West.
every time, this is what I need from you all show, okay? Every time he plays that, I want you to give me a signature kick or some sort of beefcake mixed martial arts so that we can compete with MMA Boston Sports Radio on how to out-talk them on mixed martial arts because we've got more modern imaging than them.
Pissa.
We have feuded with WEEI, which has been flatly racist for 20 years, just as an organization. For 20 years. And they know they have a champion. And what I would say to you guys, and I don't actually mean this as insult in any way to the league or the Celtics. It's actually a celebration of how much a champion the Celtics have been, even though people doubt it. Like, it never gets made as easy as the Celtics made it look last year unless you're great. And I think we kind of doubt that they're great, at least in part because we're saying, well, you've just got the faster car. You're the one that got to 53s faster. And
all the other engines blew out on the track. Look, I'm the biggest Celtics fan you'd find. And even I'd be the first to admit we got wicked lucky over the last few years.
Packy.
Remember Max Strus? Let me tell you something. His foot was in bounds. We got lucky.
Okay, you can get lucky. No,
and
Boston,
I could say that as a Boston fan.
You would never say that as
I
a
can
Boston
say
fan.
that as
You
a
would
Boston
never say
fan.
that. No
I'd be the
Boston
first
fan
to
has ever
admit
said-
it.
You'd not be the first to
We're
admit
known
it.
for our self-awareness.
No, they would not be any admitting of anything from you if you're the first to admit anything. Like that, no Boston fan. Like, what are you doing? Are you going to be in character as the Boston fan
I'll
or
admit
not?
that Brad Marchand carried your ass last night.
but are you
entire series.
Are you going to do the character or not? Because Lucky is not something any Boston fan. They rolled over everybody in 5 games last year. It's not easy to win a championship.
I think it's perfectly fair to put an asterisk next to that banner.
Ripper.
That's ridiculous.
We'd be the first to admit it.
You wouldn't be.
We would be. We would be.
We DEI.
Yeah. Winchester.
Southie.
I want to get to the Panthers in a second. We will wait, of course, for the talent to get into position. He's going to, make a jostle, get his headset in. He does remember saying his very last episode how punctual he was, making fun of Zaz for being late the previous time. Yes?
That may or may not be true. I'd have to look up the record on that.
What is your level of anger right now? How much have you forgiven me or not forgiven me for last Tuesday? It was lovely to see the audience rally in your defense to chant asshole at me. It was lovely. It was a lovely show of the best love that repressed toddler males can show each other.
Yeah, you took a big hit on social media, and rightly so. I responded to your.
Just unpacking as he talks.
I responded to your apologetic text.
What would happen if you didn't get your computer? Like, if you just addressed the situation, what would happen?
It's wild how unprofessional you're being, like, by way of entrance right now. Because
Like, you need the
can't-
computer to address
Like,
this?
because you're being noisy and this is an audio product.
You're
like
attacking my man right off the bat.
I was going to say, Dan, I really want to thank you because, your good nature, your calm demeanor, you have such a way of bringing down the temperature in any room you're in and making the workplace such an inviting environment. Thank you for being you.
You got everything you need out there?
Not yet. Go ahead. What do you got? What did I miss? What kind of magic did you guys do in the 10 minutes before I got here? Replay it for me. What
play
kind
it
of
for him.
magic?
Play it for him, Chris.
I like it. I thought DEI was banned in this country. I'm glad to hear that that's
In certain parts.
What are you? Park the car. Everybody thinks they can do a Boston accent, by the way. It's like an English accent. Hello. Everybody thinks they can do a Boston accent.
Keep cooking. Go ahead.
I grew up with a Boston accent, okay? My mother, into her 90s, was saying, park the car. So I know a Boston accent. My aunt, I grew up with my aunt singing Robert Goulet songs in French. I'm the real deal. I'm a little hyped right now. I've been in traffic for an hour and a half, nonstop. Why are we playing happy music?
He doesn't even recognize the music. And so guys, this is what I'm telling you, all right? Just so that I'm going to let people look behind the curtain for a second. Zaslow's been offended by the way Cody's done this show for about 20 years.
Offended right now.
Cody thinks he's a star, and he is. But he really does think he can come in 10 minutes in and be like, I'll get all caught up right here. You guys aren't that good at this. Go ahead, play the dog.
Sure.
So why is he doing a Boston accent?
Because he's pretending to be a Celtics fan because he's the ultimate front runner, the ultimate bandwagon guy. And I'm the one,
Not
by
bad.
the way, I'm the one Tuesday who predicted that the Celtics winning 3 in a row without Tatum would be the best story in all of sports. It's happening.
Yeah, Greg.
He did say
You're
that.
wicked smart.
Damn
I
right.
would say that while you're close, you're getting warmer, but that ain't exactly what's at play here. This is a hater's dream scenario now that Tatum is out of the way for a Miami Heat fan, which I'm purported to be, but not actually, because I'm a C's guy now.
All right. What are you looking at, Zaslow?
I'm looking at you. I'm trying to be a professional. I look at people when they're talking.
By
I'm
the way,
looking at you.
I did the math. You know how you're infamous for
Looking at
saying you're a 3-time NBA champion?
No, two-time.
Oh, two-time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Because one of them was rigged.
Okay. You know what? I did the math. I am a 24-time NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and CFB champion columnist. 24 times.
What makes you a champion?
Because I've covered all of those championships.
Well, I mean, that's
I've written
weird.
about them.
I mean, did you get championship rings from those teams you covered?
Actually, I got a couple of fake rings along
No,
the way.
no. I didn't
Yeah.
ask how many fake rings you
Yeah.
have. Did you get team-issued championship rings?
No, and if I did, I would be embarrassed. to
Now
wear
ask
them.
me that question.
I don't care. And do you have one on?
Well, no, I don't wear it everywhere. I
Do
mean,
you wear it
I
anywhere?
Look like a schmuck.
Yes, you would. Do you wear it anywhere?
If I go to a nice event, I was at a Zaslow wedding a couple of weeks ago, I wore my championship ring. Now, I don't wear both at the same time because then I look like an a-hole.
Right.
But yes, I pick out which one I'm feeling that night. Do I wear 2012? Do I wear 2013? I like the 2013 design a little bit better. It's usually my go-to. But yes, if I'm at a nice event, I wear a big, fat championship ring.
And do people ever mistake you for the 12th guy on the bench on that original 1986 team?
Well, 86 is 2012 and 2013. I mean, you should know. You say you cover the teams.
Yes.
But
Those were 2 of my 24 championships. The 3, actually. I covered all 3.
they don't have to ask who I am when people see it because my name is on the side of the ring.
Yeah, and you did a lot to earn that. So
Hey,
congrats.
That's debatable, but the team
Yeah, it is.
gave me rings.
Yeah, because they felt obligated to. Nowadays, everybody gets a championship ring. Fans get them. Okay, I have a Marlins championship ring.
It's a fake one. You just said it's a replica.
Right.
I have a real one. It's real diamonds.
Okay.
If I wanted to sell it, I'd be living lap of luxury.
I'm sure
These
you
are
would.
real diamonds.
Yeah, and so let me get this straight.
Maybe blood diamonds. I don't know exactly where
Tony
it came
says
from.
you
I don't
can't
know.
live lap of luxury.
luxury here?
What's that's ring? Is it $5,000? Because he gets a smaller ring than the others. I don't
Yeah.
think he gets the same ring.
It's-
He doesn't-
yeah, they're
he do-
different levels.
He doesn't
Yeah,
get-
it's not-
I was about to say, you think your
So
ring
you didn't know that?
is the same as Dwayne Wade's ring?
No, I don't think that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
All right, okay.
Now with passing rings.
Okay. When you wear that ring, does it leave your finger green after you take it off? I'm just curious.
You think I'm wearing a Fugazi
Oh
ring?
no, it's not Fugazi. It's
You
not,
think I'm wearing a Fugazi ring?
I didn't say that.
You did.
I didn't say that.
I don't like that.
I don't.
Couldn't
I-
have said it more
I
clearly.
don't
He's asking.
accuse.
Asking
did say
questions,
it.
guys.
You did.
Asking questions.
You did.
If a
No,
green
no,
ring
he
is
said
left
it.
on your finger
He said
after
it.
you wear a diamond ring, that means it's Fugazi. Are you saying
He
that's
said
not
it
true?
without- he
Oh,
said
it means you bleed green.
Are you accusing the Heat?
Yeah, you bleed green like Mike Ryan.
Are you
that guy.
accusing the Miami Heat
Uh-huh.
of giving Fugazi rings?
I am accusing the Miami Heat of giving a much cheaper ring to someone in your situation.
That's
no,
true, though. That
no
part-
offense.
It's not.
He's got us there.
No, he's got you.
accusation.
I will rule
That's a
on that as a
conviction.
judge.
I'm not saying your ring is.
oh,
I'm not
wait a
saying your
minute.
ring is made
I
out of
will
tin
rule
foil.
on
Please,
No, well-
please rule on whether or not a franchise that is constantly avoiding the luxury tax is cutting corners.
Listen, this is my court, and we are not ruling on two different things at once. I will rule on whether the ring is cheaper that I have as opposed to Dwayne Wade, LeBron
Sure.
James, Chris Bosh.
Yeah, or the assistant trainer, or
The
any
ruling
number
it.
of
Well, I
other
don't know
people.
all those people.
I'm happy to cede the power to you here,
Proceed.
Judge with prejudice, Zaslow. Can you guys just look up for me though to see what's factual here? Because I believe, Judge, that he's being insulting because I believe it is a very good ring and I believe it is a very valuable ring, but it is also probably a ring that would be lower than the one that Juwan Howard got by a lot.
Probably.
Sustained.
no,
You got that at probably?
No, but then
He
I'm
knows.
gonna, no, but I'm going to
I
go.
mean, he knows.
There are many layers. There aren't just two layers on this. There are employees, and I believe the Heat would regard him as an employee, as someone who was getting up day and night to be one of the prominent voices for their team. Like, did your money come from the Heat or did it come from radio?
No, it came from the radio.
Okay, so he separated it like a journalist would.
That's right.
Separated.
Never took a dollar from the team, Cody.
Yeah.
Journalist.
Yeah, and how much of an
Never a dollar.
How much of an obligation was there for you to be pro Heat at every turn?
I was never told what to say.
Is that
never
right?
ever. I was
Yeah.
never told what to say.
Because it was already implied.
It was certainly implied.
Okay, hold on a second. This is my courtroom here, all right?
Is it?
I'm going
Since
to
when?
rule, hey, bailiff, keep an eye on him.
And by the way, Heat dancers get championship rings.
So which is greater?
earn
though?
them.
As they deserve.
Well,
them.
but which one? But give me the tiers, please, because I think not the next tiers. Give me these tiers.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of tiers. I mean, the top one
Is
is
it
the
a couple
players.
or is
It's
it
like
5?
10 tiers.
I don't know.
It makes a difference, though. The reason I keep asking the question is we're trying to get an empirical measurement for whether or not you're a journalist based on your ring and how big it is, and whether you should be proud of your ring. I'm saying it's a valuable ring. I don't know if it's the least valuable. I'm still saying it's valuable. Like, I'm guessing it's at least a $5,000 ring.
Lap of luxury, Greg.
You think?
yeah.
I do.
Have you seen that? Have you seen the rings?
I have not.
No.
You've seen 'em?
I've seen them. They're pretty heavy duty.
Okay.
Those are expensive ass rings.
That's right.
What do you imagine it's worth, and what do you imagine you could get for it if you decided to sell your soul? You would never sell it. It's priceless.
If my house were on fire, it's the thing I grab when I'm running out of the house.
Right.
Everyone knows the thing they would grab in their house, right? If your house is on fire, you got to grab some. We're assuming,
My
the
kids.
women, the children. We're
daughter.
assuming. They have legs. They have legs. We're
Hers
assuming
don't
they're
work
getting
yet.
out. All right.
You guys, that's so lame. Yeah, yes, your kids, guys. You would grab your kids.
what I'm
Congratulations,
grabbing. I grab my kids,
virtue signalers. Yeah, great.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
grab your kids before you grab. Now, Samson would grab some paperwork. You guys would grab your kids. Got it. Brave and noble warriors, you guys, in a fire.
And Zaz would grab his fake rings. See?
And they'd be hot, and he'd have to put them down and then grab the kids.
Just like in Indiana Jones, where he tries to grab that little compass thing and then it burns into his hand. So all of a sudden, Zaslo's got it burned in his hand. Heat Championship 2023.
But then the problem is they have the wrong size stick because the flip side of it
backside
take
of it,
one
yes.
Kaddam off of the Hebrew
Exactly.
God for which it was raised for.
Okay. Bottom line is, if my house were on fire, I would grab the rings. They're very, very important to me because not everyone can claim, Greg.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've never heard anybody else claim being a champion broadcaster. And not just that, I'm a 2-time champion broadcaster.
Yeah, I'm a 24-time champion columnist, and I proudly don't wear any ring. I think if you wear a team's
Your panky ring. You wear your panky ring.
If you wear a team's championship ring, it disqualifies you from claiming you're a journalist.
Well, then you're not a journalist either. You're calling yourself a champion.
I'm calling myself a champion columnist because I've covered 24 championships, major championships. I'm not even including the 2 baseball championships.
These are Zaslow's rings. You think those are cheap rings?
That's me.
I went to
Those are my rings.
Omaha.
You think those are cheap rings?
Those are my fists.
I mean, I can't tell from here. I mean, that zirconia looks pretty good.
How dare you?
You know, I can't tell from here. I'm not in the company of the ring, but that
Precious
does
jewel
look,
banter.
Yeah, that does look pretty a pretty good facsimile.
All right, I will get in a second. I've been remiss, okay, because I will say we're 50 minutes into the show, and what I saw last night in Toronto, I'm just honored to see excellence on display that can reach into a country and a franchise's soul. And I can hear and feel the fear in a really unique way coming from a country
So good.
when they were down 1-0 because they knew what came this way. They've watched enough hockey to know, and I heard this, you're not going to believe how it is. I've got to get to these things, and don't let me wander too far away from them, okay? Zaz has betrayed Amin.
I mean, not on purpose.
Okay, we're going to get back to it. I just don't want to wander too far away. I got a text all of you are going to want to hear, but I do want to celebrate.
Go ahead. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for how you finish that sentence. What do you want to celebrate? I'm right there with you. Woo! Go ahead.
I love Greg on the attack. Greg, we need you on the offensive more often.
That's a forecheck right there.
You're too defensive. You know, you come here, you're humble. You let Dan make fun of you, and you got to say, oh no, don't talk about my son that way. Don't talk about me that way.
Yeah.
You need to be like this more often
Look out
on
for
the
number-
offensive.
Yeah, look out for number one. I
The
love this
best-
Boston me
Thank
party
you.
over there.
You know, I got to stand up for myself because when I'm in here Tuesday, you know, I was in here Tuesday with Zaslow and Mike talking nonstop. I couldn't get a word in, so now I have a shoehorn. I'm trying to,
don't run out of allies. All right.
Yeah,
dude,
you're right.
realize what's going on over here.
I
I'm
know.
backing you up. I can turn on a dime, as you
I
can
know
tell
you
from
can.
the last 2 days.
I know you can.
All right?
That's an authentic accent,
Cool
by
little
the way.
timer.
yeah, wicked good that accent.
Norista.
Tony, you need to get better at it.
That was a flying knee.
Tony,
The camera didn't get it.
Guys,
I mean, come on, guys. You never know when you're going to hit the sounder. Dan, you got to be looser.
I know I got to be looser.
He's
but-
going to do it every time. He's going to be what you need.
Jimmy's.
What I'm saying is that if Tony sharpens this particular skill,
No, enough with the sharpening skills. He's doing the chop. All right, every time that plays, play it again. Play it again.
See?
You got Tony doing his thing, but you never know when the old timer's gonna spill some tea all over his
Well,
computer.
he got
Like,
it. No, I know.
It's a tough show to
Well,
direct.
I understood. I would just say to you,
I love that. That's good producing, by the way.
You missed it, by the way. I gave an old timey poke in the eyes. Illegal,
A
by the
little
way.
Roddy Piper right there. Block, yes.
the eye gouge. The eye gouge is.
I was ready for it.
It's one of. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Well scouted.
Is the eye gouge the greatest of the fighting tools?
Yeah, but I put that hand up. You got no moves. You got no moves.
I got me.
Coffee.
It's like what happens when Tatum goes out. You just get more Derek White.
Well,
That's a bad
no,
thing.
but no, wait a minute. So when you say you've got no moves, and when you say heart of a champion, and yes, the Boston Celtics are a proven and determined champion. Boston knows what it takes to be great at sports, although not very often in basketball.
I mean,
over
easy
the
with
last
the
20
proven.
years.
Easy with the proven. There are plenty of questions about our last championship reign because we got so lucky with all the injured players. The best player on every team that we played got hurt. Very fortunate.
You can't do this, person. You can't keep doing this,
Yeah, you
person.
can. I'm loving it.
Person.
What? A self-aware Boston Celtics fan? I'm like manna from heaven.
This is what I want to tell you about the weirdness of how it is that I watched the game last night, okay? Because Zaslow left here. You have seen Zaslow say how he sleeps at night knowing that he's got the champion. He goes to bed at the end of these games, and he's just got this giant smile on his face because it's how the Chiefs feel, okay? And I'm not saying that the Panthers are there yet because they're not, but to climb to the top of this sport, it is clear that they have learned through style and physical resiliency what it takes to get to the top of the sport and what it takes to buzzsaw that team, a very good team, at a time that its fan base is scared going into the game because Canada, because 25 years, because here come the Kachucks, and they know what they're doing. I didn't watch the game. I'm listening to it on Toronto radio because I want the Panthers to get a 1-goal lead, and I want to hear what it sounds like there to know that I got, in poker, the nuts. That you don't have what this is, and the announcer said the perfect thing after after the first goal. The Toronto announcer said the perfect thing because I got the silence at 1-0. And he says, these are the Panthers from Game 4. They're here. This is reminiscent. And now the fear of history sweeps through the building. They know what a champion looks like. It never looks like them. Never looks like them. And they see their team broken. Yeah, our backup goalie was great. Can you believe it? It's such a nice story. But here comes the team that knows how to gear up for this time of the season, and they'll choke you out when they get the lead because you will do nothing the rest of the game. And I could hear soaked in the announcer's voice at 1-0 with the silence, they're here now. And I'm telling you, it was haunting. As someone who loves audio, you left here hoping that Toronto would go down 1-0 so that you would hear what Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
You would hear the fear.
Like, the Panthers didn't have to go up 1-0 yesterday. The Leafs had to go up 1-0 because if the Panthers get that lead in the first period, that crowd is so tight, and they were shook after that 1-0 lead because not only did we give up the first goal, but they are strangling us the way that we were strangled the entire game number 4. And it's why after game 1, even game 2, I mean, obviously I was nervous, but it's why after game 1 and the Leafs won, Leafs fans were excited. They should have been. It was 1-0. I was like, we're fine. Like, we played terrible in game 1, game 2 for that matter. And I feel like the Leafs probably felt like they played pretty well in game 1, and they barely escaped with that win. And it's like, all right, the longer this series goes, if you don't kill us dead, and they had a chance to kill us dead, they were a goal away from a 3-0 series lead. Heck, they were up 3-1 in the second period.
Cody, are you laughing at kill us dead? Are you laughing at the journalist us there?
No, I get it. I understand it.
This isn't us.
That's fine.
I'm in the thick of this here, Greg.
Okay.
And
All
now...
right. I thought you played well last night, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you.
Look,
Okay.
Zaslow went...
I mean, he probably netted a goal everybody else did.
Zaslow...
AJ Green. Woo!
It's
Greer.
Greer.
Or whatever.
Plays for the Bucks.
Okay. That's true. I'm thinking of the receiver. You're right. Is he
He's
still
He
still
plays
around?
for the he
Is he
used to
still
play for the
playing?
Bengals. I'm talking about AJ Green. Bucks.
Doesn't need to be on
white
time.
guy.
Has got it down. He knows.
Shooter.
He's playing the his.
Sure.
I thought he retired.
He went to game 3 and 4. I will say this.
Had to pull up.
No. So if this person, who cares a great deal about the Panthers, said he went game 3 and game 4 and told me before the game, it's
Stood on business. Just saying.
He did.
He texted me only one sentence both times going to the arena. My team needs me.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, fans think like that.
I mean, I had other things going on, but it's like, whatever.
Right.
Get in the car. Team needs me.
Fans are convinced that they're the sixth man on the ice.
He's not a fan, though. He's a 2-time champion broadcaster, and he knows exactly what it takes to get to that mountaintop.
And I knew my team needed me.
He's a fanalist.
Ooh.
I just invented that.
It's a wicked good word.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, all
Old
right.
man still got it.
All right, a
Patent
little
pending.
counterpunch.
Patent
Good
pending.
Wait a
idea.
minute. I believe we've got a lot of those in the media now. I feel like everybody's a fanalist now.
Man.
Top fanalist right now.
Who are the top fanalists? Let's do it. That's a good list because it's changing. The sports media is changing. It's becoming fanalists. Wilbon's out there with his Cubs jersey tucked into his jeans while he's throwing out the first pitch. I'm banging on a hockey drum.
I mean, Bill Simmons,
Oh, of
chief
course. Yeah.
analyst.
Everybody's a fanalist.
Mike Greenberg.
Zazzle, you will notice, Cody, is not calling himself a one-time Panthers hockey champion. Like he's not associating himself with that
Yeah, 'cause
championship.
he doesn't have a championship ring either.
He's
I'm
saying,
a champion columnist, Panthers columnist.
but he's a
champion.
fan of the Panthers. He's a journalist about the Heat. You will concede that, will you not? He's a basketball journalist.
Can you guys get back to breaking down the game? We were talking puck, and it wasn't one of the 3.5
Okay.
talking points that Dan has. He was so happy to get that half one with Brad Marchand, but now that I'm on board, we're
No,
good.
I don't want to talk to you today.
On board.
I don't. This person
Let
is
my
not-
boy talk puck.
that I have never heard from the self-aware Celtics fan. It's not that you can't create that character.
I'm just
now.
a truth teller.
The-
I live and die with my C's. But, I mean, you look at that title that we won, you closely inspect it, you look under the hood, and you realize, okay, we got very, very, very fortunate for a team that
all right.
never had to actually prove it.
Fine. The Panthers did to the Bruins to get to hear what they are right now. To watch in real time a hockey team change its entire blueprint to become architecturally something that is tougher in the third periods and that Toronto knows to fear. Because whatever the regular season was, when this team gets to 100 points winning this way, everyone knows that it could beat everybody because it already has. However, I am terrified of Edmonton. Call it now.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Wow, they're already getting past the East Finals.
Fully
Good.
terrified. I am
Yeah, the
fully
They're
terrified.
in the West. Champion.
Well, he means
No, I mean
he
the
means
Panthers.
getting
We're
past, yeah.
skipping ahead around. I like that. You know, in the last minute of the game, the Panthers were still outworking. It's amazing the effort and the coach for the other team said this. We were outworked, we were out hustled, we were out wanted,
This is the new
and that
and improved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
With Jessica's Potato.
After a blank space on the calendar, Formula One is back in Azerbaijan despite its reputation for tight corners and narrow roads. F1 is putting a sprint race in Baku. On Saturday, Charles Leclerc is fearless in pole position as the sprint begins. But at the start, London boy George Russell delivers some karma to Max Verstappen, making him a move to push him wide. Max is red, but George says, don't blame me. Number 22, Yuki Tsunoda, clips the wall and loses a tire after just 2 laps. At the restart, Sergio Perez has a lead with 5 laps left. It's time to go. Checo wins the sprint race, but Max and George have bad blood when the race ends. You guys see what I'm doing yet? Will there be vigilante shit on Sunday?
This
Max,
is amazing.
You need to calm down because it's lights out and away we go in Baku. Sparks fly, and Verstappen is driving like he's in a getaway car and pulls out into the lead. Long story short, Nick DeVries has a glitch and a safety car ensues. Perez is in the lead after a slew of pit stops, but he's not out of the woods yet. The one driver, Max Verstappen, has speed, but that's when Sergio Perez says, bye-bye, baby. As the race ends, Esteban Ocon goes into the pit, but the mastermind race organizers have let press onto the treacherous pit lane. This is why we can't have nice things. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton finishes in 6th. The last great American dynasty, Haas, finishes out of the points, but today was a fairy tale for Sergio Perez. Verstappen finishes in 2nd, which is better than revenge. 1-2 for Red Bull is nothing new. They don't have champagne problems on the podium, but the anti-hero Max Verstappen is only ahead in the Drivers' Championship by 6 points. Fernando Alonso and Taylor Swift rumors are swirling. Long live Formula One. Max Verstappen has won the Drivers' Championship, but we still have 4 races to go. In Austin, Daniel Ricciardo rides a horse named Horsey McHorseface into the paddock. Zach Brown accuses Christian Horner of cheating, and Fort Lauderdale's own Logan Sargent will join Williams in 2023. During quali, Carlos Sainz takes the fastest lap while his teammate Charles Leclerc takes a grid penalty. Martin Brundle gets snubbed by Brad Pitt. Tim Apple doesn't know how to wave a flag. 440,000 people are at the Circuit of the Americas. It's lights out and away we go. On turn 1, Max Verstappen gets ahead of Carlos Sainz, and Sainz tries to recover, but gets hit by George Russell. The Spaniard is out of the race before the 1 lap is even over, and Russell takes a 5-second penalty. Valtteri Bottas' race ends early, and a safety car helps out Charles Leclerc for once. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll get in a massive collision, and debris is everywhere. Lewis Hamilton, on hard tires, leads the race with 10 laps to go, but the Flying Dutchman cannot be beat this year. It's Verstappen, Hamilton, and Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel battles to the finish in his final USGP. Baby Lando finishes 6th, and Yuki gets a point. Red Bull wins the Constructors' Championship for the first time in 10 years, a day after their founder's passing. People are crying, there's champagne flowing, fireworks are popping off. Everything is bigger in Texas, Dan, except for F1 drivers.
Yes, it's time for the F1 minute here, even though I want to hear that sound
gave it
again.
away?
Je suis stressé pour les minutes de Formule 1. J'ai besoin d'énergie. Énergie.
Let's go,
Wait for the
energy.
beat drop. Oh, energy.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Circuit Paul Ricard pour le Grand Prix de France. Les températures élevées sur le circuit signifient que la gestion des pneus va être essentielle. Charles Leclerc, le pilote automobile monégasque, fait face à Max Verstappen pour la première place. Le pilote Ferrari doit gagner pour rester dans les championnats. Mais non! Quelle horreur! Une catastrophe! Sacré bleu! Charles Leclerc sort de la course! Encore de la malchance! Il est fini! Une honte! Max Verstappen prend une grosse avance. Lewis Hamilton, le pilote Mercedes, est 12e. Carlos Sainz, l'autre pilote Ferrari, a commencé à la 19e place. Tout sa pénalité pour le changement du moteur. Et les roues contre roues avec Sergio Perez, mais l'imbécile de chez Ferrari recommence. Max Verstappen a fini premier de la course. Carlos Sainz est le pilote toujours. Lando, l'enfant Norris, a terminé 7e. Lance Stroll a terminé avec un point. Félicitations, Mike Crack.
Huh?
Wow! Oh my God!
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Merci.
Oh my God! Was there an imbecile in there? Did you say
Les
imbecile?
imbéciles de chez Ferrari recommencent.
That sounded so exciting. I have no idea what happened.
Les pauvres Charles Leclerc, les pauvres.
My God, that was incredible.
That was
I
really
am
good.
so
Merci,
jealous that
merci
you can do that.
Christophe, merci Guillermo.
Well, the music ran out, but I think you should, because we didn't have an F1 minute today. I think you should give people a Lord of the Rings minute. Yes, I think you should give people
Spoiler alert or no spoiler
Dangerous
alert?
game, man.
dangerous game because of what?
To us, you can spoil as much as you want. So I say go for as many spoilers as you like.
All right, I'll give a spoiler of what happened at the end of the last
Hold on.
episode.
Let me get you
Hold up.
music.
It was insane. Okay, so spoiler. Do not listen if you don't want to know what happened in the last episode of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So Galadriel and Halbrand, who everyone thinks might be Sauron, they go from Numenor back to Middle-earth, and they're in the Southlands. And the guy who's like the head elf of the Southlands, who's trying to help protect all the people who are getting invaded by the ORC army, they're trying to figure out how to get the orcs to go away, the ORC army, and to get free of them. And right now, a lot of people are calling it Before-Dor. We think they're in Mordor before it becomes Mordor, before Mount Doom erupts. Interesting, because there's been a mountain that they've shown a couple times in different scenes throughout the series, right? So we're like, okay, how are the people going to defeat the orcs? Because the orcs, the ORC army, they're badasses, and they have this guy who's a leader, and his name's Adar, which means father, and we're like, maybe he's Sauron. But he's trying to get this thing that looks like a sword, but it's actually like kind of a key, and it looks like it's in the shape of Mordor. So he's trying to get that, and this little kid Theo has it, and his mom Bronwyn is in charge of all these people. So they trap the orcs inside the Elven Tower, and then the orcs come to the town, the ones that survive, and it looks like the people beat the orcs, but then the orcs come back. There's more orcs, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Galadriel and Halbrand and the Numenorians charge in on their horses, and they save all the people, and it's like, holy shit. And so Galadriel finally finds Adar, and she's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your deal is.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Zaslow, why did you just squeal? Yesterday it was a snort. Right now it was a squeal. You pointed to the set of Get Up here in the upper left-hand corner of the studio, and you had a radiant smile on your face. You were just buoyant, and it wasn't Panthers, and it wasn't the hatred of the Celtics or the Knicks. What was happening?
First of all, this is a great morning because last night was a great sports night. I'm in a fantastic mood, all right? And, yeah, it's just funny because the NFL schedule came out last night, which, God, do I not care. But the NFL schedule came out last night, and they're going over the Jets, the New York Jets schedule. That's a win, that's a loss.
Wins and losses, Dano.
Best game.
That's a win, that's a win. 15-2. I have to assume it's Greenberg. I mean, great, huge Jets fan. I have to assume those were Greenie's picks. 15-2 for the Jets. I'm taking the under.
David Sampson is here right now. Nothing Personal is the name of his podcast. What are you laughing about, Sampson?
I'm laughing because I listen to Zaz and I see and hear Stu now. And it's just I'm taking the under. You just got to do the phlegmy laugh, and then there's really no discernible difference.
What? They're not the same person. Zaz is so much stranger. So much stranger. They're not the same person at all. How dare you? Zaz is a journalist.
Who's being insulted by that comparison? I can't figure it out.
Oh, I think it's a tie. You know, I love both of them. Okay. I just was laughing very hard. And Zaz, I apologize. I did not know we throw the word journalist around so much. I thought that you were more of a talent.
Let's move on. Let's move on. People in here are chirping at me. Stop with the journalism stuff. Only you and Greg Cody care.
Yeah.
So
Fanalists.
Top 5 fanalists. Are you ready to do it, Amin? Top 5 fanalists.
Olai. Mike Greenberg. Everyone knows he's a big Jets fan, whatever. Olai. Pat McAfee.
Wherever game day is.
Yes. He's anything.
It's a good move. I mean, if you're a wrestling character, it's a great move.
OLI, Jonathan Zaslow. Now we go to the top 5. Number 5, Mike Wilbon.
The damn jersey tucked
He'd
in.
be so insulted by that.
Yeah.
Number 4, Bill Simmons.
Would he be insulted by that?
Too low.
Way too low.
Number 3, Stugotz. Number 2, David Sampson. He's a fan of money. He's the biggest fan of money I know. And number 1, how is this even a debate? Stephen A. Smith. The GOAT.
Knicks fans want him near all of this, yes or no?
They don't.
Yeah.
They really don't. They don't like him around any of it. They look at him as a bad omen.
I saw the stat the other day in the second round the last 3 years on TNT. The Knicks are like 7-1 in postseason games. They're like 0-9 on ESPN. Everybody in New York, there is a funny thing happening with fans do not want Stephen A. proclaiming to be a Knicks fan.
Bad
You
luck.
know who has the Eastern Conference Finals this year?
TNT?
Yes, sir. All you got to do is win one of the next 2, and you're going to the finals.
Ernie Johnson predicted the Pacers. He had it totally right.
I think we laughed at him.
I don't think anybody laughed. And you don't. Ernie Johnson. Not a lot of people laugh at Ernie Johnson.
No.
I don't.
When he speaks, I listen, especially when I don't actually watch basketball all that much. So I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good. Let me take
By
a
the
little
way,
flyer."
Julius Randle had another great game last night. I don't know if you were watching, buddy. Oh, okay.
I filled out one of those apology forms online.
Can we talk about what happened with Golden State?
They disintegrated.
Steph got injured. That's what happened.
Jimmy Butler is not playoff Jimmy. He is I'm old and done Jimmy. When he gave the interview post-game and he said, hey, I try to get my teammates involved and he can playoff Jimmy can be there or not be there. It's up to me. I decide what I'm going to do. And then in an elimination game, he takes 11 shots. That is not quite acceptable. And now the Warriors have him signed for 2 more years. They did what Pat Riley wouldn't do. Who's the genius now?
Just say they're suckers. David, just say the Warriors are suckers. Say it.
It's hard to call a dynasty ending. I wouldn't call them suckers. They've got more rings. I assume they have more rings than... Oh, no. Are they tied with the Heat? Starting with Wade and Shaq and LeBron? It may be 4-all?
No, 4-3.
4-3.
4-3.
Yeah. But Butler was pretty good when Curry was healthy. I mean, you got to admit that he was.
Well,
on a
but
run
that
there.
let,
Everybody
can we
loved him.
examine for a second? I need to get to the text from last night because I think you guys will find it interesting, and I also find interesting how often we can reframe the Jimmy Butler story from game to game, series to series. How loud noise and public relations can be around teams when I just said to you the most horrible thing I can say about non-injured NBA player where they are in the state of their career. Barkley knows it. Wade knows it. They knew it at the end. Pump fake Jimmy is not 40 points a game playoff Jimmy. And pump fake Jimmy, what he knows is, holy shit, these guys, these young people, I've toughed them out for 15 years, but here come the young people. They've got fingers down to their ankles, and they're hanging on the rim, and they're bigger than me, and now I got a pump fake. And it's not going to be playoff Jimmy. It's pump fake Jimmy because my time's done. My time's over. Minnesota's big, man. What am I going to do? They're really big, and I can't get 40 foul shots.
I mean, I think to Greg's point, though, Golden State probably more than any offense in the league is so dependent on the attention that Steph Curry draws that it changes the entire complexion of the series if he's not out there. And so Jimmy might have looked a lot better had there been the Steph Curry element, because the other thing you got to understand is Jimmy Butler, this is not an offense that's built around him. That's not even an offense that was built with him in mind. They had to adjust on the fly during this stretch of, since early February. So when you take Steph off the board, more so than just, they lost their best player, it changes the way they play in a way that, for instance, Boston losing Jason Tatum does not change the way they play. They're still playing the same offensive system and the same scheme. That's
one of the reasons I think they're legitimately dangerous.
Okay, so hold on a second. To Jimmy real quick. Obviously, the entire offense changes, okay? And to change your entire offense mid-series, you're really asking for a lot, all right? But Jimmy took 26 shots in Game 3. And in Game 4 and 5, he took a combined 20.
What do you think that's about?
I don't know.
Let me explain some of it to you, okay, if I can, please, because Jimmy is 3 for 8 in his last 11 elimination games, okay? So it's been a minute since you saw whatever it is that you remember. Kevin O'Connor says, quote, he hasn't dominated a game since the end of the Heat-Bucks series over 2 years ago. Racks up 7 rebounds per game and 6 assists per game, but regularly plays passively and scores inefficiently. And then this quote from Steve Kerr, and here's a cutter, okay, because it's where the argument was for the Heat and Jimmy.
Cutter.
Once Steph went out, it changed everything for our whole team, but especially for Jimmy.
Yeah.
And and yes, you can tell me, you can say to me, Dan, and they'll come back next year and they'll build it more around Jimmy. And I'm like, you and I have been talking for about 2 or 3 years. You really respect this process. You know that Golden State is dangerous because they know how to be a champion. And I kept telling you, they're old. And you're telling
Dan,
me,
everything you're saying,
Steph,
I'm going to stop you right there. Everything you're saying is irrelevant because Steph Curry didn't play. If he had played and they lost, now you get to do this speech.
No, but I'm
not. You don't get to do this speech about, they're coming for their stuff. The guy was not playing. He wasn't out there. There's no stuff that they came for.
No, my point is that you got Jimmy to be a number 2. You got Jimmy to be a number 2 because you're recognizing that he's aging. My point is, in the argument about where it is these people argued about money with Jimmy Butler, 5 years of LeBron James in Miami birthed that, the ego of that, the business of that. 5 years of Jimmy Butler in Miami birthed someone who had the ego of, I'm playoff Jimmy. Everyone else bows to me. I am the things that I believe. And when I get to the text I got last night is, how many conference finals has Jimmy been to without Tyler Hero and Bam? How many conference finals has he gotten to? He took the 5 years of Miami. LeBron made it what he made it. Jimmy made it this. And now the bet is next year, that thing's done in Golden State. That ended last night.
This does sound pretty petty to the neutral. I must point that out, which is what I'm sure your text message was, reeking with petty. But I would say, what is Jimmy Butler's biggest moment outside of a Heat uniform? It's irrefutable to me.
His biggest moment.
It's the practice in Minnesota.
It's a practice. Beating the first team Minnesota Timberwolves, who we just got eliminated by the way, and said they're not winning anything with me. So all that banter came back around. Beating them while wearing a Rolex.
Well, see, all of these things are, number one, yeah, he was talking about.
Story reported by a meme.
He was talking about them willing and desirous to pay Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, but reticent to pay him. Neither of those guys were on that Minnesota Timberwolves team last night.
I'm just speaking for the
but I'm just saying, like this is the kind of this is the where we're just making petty arguments, but it's not like contextually right. In terms of his biggest moment, that's probably his most famous moment. His biggest moment, I would say, is Game 7 against the Sixers when he was the only one on the Game 7, against the Raptors when he was the only one doing anything. And if Kawhi Leonard doesn't hit that shot, we're talking about Jimmy Butler being a hero in that game, probably.
It is fair to say what this sport does this time of year to the body should not be underestimated. It gets ruined by Steph getting injured, and Jimmy was also hurt, incidentally.
Played 55 games this year.
No, but hurt, and Steve Kerr has said that if this were the regular season, Jimmy probably would have still been out from what happened earlier in the series.
This is my kind of David Sampson segment, by the way. He's on, but we don't hear him. That's perfect.
Thank
Congrats,
you, Greg.
David.
It's so good to see you.
I didn't know you were still here. I forgot you were still here.
You put the T in team, Greg.
Can I ask you a quick question? I don't mean to derail the show, because you know this firsthand. Okay, what are the levels of championship rings? Obviously, the players and executives get the top of the line. If you're giving out a championship ring to, say, a broadcaster or an assistant trainer or something like that, how much lower does it go in terms of the value of that ring, if you're willing to be that honest?
There's an A ring, a B ring, and a C ring. The A ring is diamonds. The B and C ring are cubic zirconiums.
Thank you. Yep. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Ooh, we got
to the judge. To the
we
judge.
Got a judge in the face of the judge. I rest my case, Judge.
Courts, you think you could just walk into my courtroom and all of a sudden...
An expert witness has just testified.
This was not a courtroom. We're not in session right now. None of this is admissible.
If you're in the traveling party, you get the A ring. So there are some broadcasters who would get the A ring, but then there's some crew members who would get the B ring. Some players even got a B ring, and then some staff get a C ring. And so the value, let's say it's $50,000 for the A ring, it goes down to like $5,000 for the B ring and about $1,000 for the C ring. But don't get me wrong, they're all super cool.
Oh, Hell yeah, David.
Yeah.
Well, but
the C ring's made out of tinfoil, but still, it looks fantastic.
Okay, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Zaz's ring made out of tinfoil at Le Batard Show? I also think, though, one of the things happening here, David, I don't think I have this wrong.
Show
but
you a C ring.
But I may have this wrong.
Yo.
Can you guys find for me
the goat one?
I don't like the goat one. I told you that.
Put the goat one up screen.
The rings of the Miami Heat? I believe the low-end ring of the Miami Heat would be not cubic zirconia. I believe the Marlins would do that to their employees. I don't believe the Heat would do that to its employees. So can I find out? I'm going to try and find out, because I don't think the lowest ring for the Miami Heat would be $1,000. I would assume it'd be about $5,000.
Just retext where the person who texted you last night about Tyler and Bam and ask.
Yeah, call your source. See if Pat picks up.
It was not.
Oh.
It would have been text from a source that anyone knows.
It would have been 1,000, but then
Samson
Bino
liked that
Udrid
joke.
did that thing for them. So that was widely. Man, we were carrying so much water. Remember when we were like, "Yeah, Bino, that's what you do. Thank you for helping us avoid the apron."
I still don't know how that worked. Like, to this day, I asked Andy Ellisberg straight up, the guy, the general manager, probably the smartest cap whiz in all the NBA. I said, how did you get him to agree not to take money that was owed to him? And he just kind of smiled and he walked away from me.
So bought and paid for. We were retiring Bino Udrid's number for avoiding the apron.
David, did you know that Amin reported the story of Jimmy Butler, and he too is now a journalist? Because the myth of Jimmy Butler, the moment. Amin's making fun of me for talking about moments. I've been talking about moments a lot.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you do know what it means.
Don't.
Okay, what is the moment that Kawhi Leonard of his career that you remember? Is it winning the championships, or is it what he did at Philadelphia?
It's winning championships.
Okay, for me, it's at Philadelphia.
Okay.
First thing I think of when I think of Kawhi Leonard is I think at Philadelphia.
I kind of also think of LeBron saying
yes,
that curse word when he saw Kawhi checking in.
So the difference between champion and moments, yes.
But like you seem to value moments over championships. To me, it's like it's irrelevant. What's relevant is how much hardware you get.
No, but it's how you remembered in the story when we write the history. It's like for people to remember the story. Go ahead, Zaz.
I mean, the moment to me, I think of Kawhi missing the free throws in Game 6, which led to Ray Allen hitting the 3.
Also, there's a fictional moment that I've kind of made real. It's kind of like in that Richard Gere territory, but where the legend becomes the truth. Apple time, apple time.
Oh, my God. Dude, do you know anytime I'm doing radio and we have callers, the callers say, hey, how you guys doing? I always just say apple time, and no one ever picks up on it. I love that story so much. I'm with you, Mike. That thing is real. I don't give a shit.
It's a real story.
It's
apple
a
time,
real
apple
story.
Time.
It's very effective to do something that no one picks up on.
Hey,
I like that.
Samson, it's called world building. You should try it sometime.
Real ballers know.
Stugotz got a ring for selling Marlins tickets in 1997. That was a previous administration to David Sampson, but I believe that would be the cubic zirconia ring. I don't believe Zaz's ring is cubic zirconia, and I do believe that makes a difference if it's diamonds or if it's not.
I mean, I have the same ring that the other Heat broadcasters. Like, you think Eric Reed is wearing a cubic zirconia ring? I would think so.
I would think Eric Reed would get a big time ring.
It's the same ring.
Same ring.
He's not getting the A-ring.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I used to work side by side with these guys. How dare you?
David.
So the Heat may not have done any levels of rings, Dan. They may have done just one classification.
No, there was a
of
difference between the players. There's
yeah.
the players, and then there's the top team employees, but they're not giving the tinfoil ones to Zaz.
Well,
I don't know what Zaz's role was.
The guy who broadcasts the game is naturally going to get a better ring than the guy who does the pregame show or something like that, I would think.
But he's just told you. How would you think that if he's?
Yeah, I'm the source. Like, I'm the guy. Right. I'm telling you what it is.
Yeah. Did you take it to a jeweler with the thing on his eye? And
No,
he said, yeah,
because,
you're right. That's
no, because it's not. It's worth what it's worth to me.
Right.
I don't care what the dollar value is.
Well,
I would
no,
never
Zaz,
sell it.
We would send an appraisal. Did you not get that for insurance purposes?
I didn't know.
Did you get a document from the Heat?
Should I?
That speaks volumes.
Yeah, we gave that to all the A-ring holders. So
No,
they
I'm
could
definitely
properly
not
insure.
an A-ring holder. I'm not an A-ring holder. I'm not.
goat ring holder.
No, I don't like that goat ring, dog.
A ring's a ring. I don't think we should be quibbling about what level of ring Zaz has. He's got a ring.
Correct.
And that is the impressive part, because my guess is he's the only one in the room who has a ring.
False.
No, that's not true. I just don't wear mine.
Sunson wins
24-time champion columnist.
Greg, can you listen? Amin's trying to talk in the other room.
Yeah.
2-time WNBA champion.
Oh, that's right.
But you guys don't respect women's sports, and that's the problem.
No, it's not that I don't respect women's sports. I had no idea that you worked in women's sports.
Of course, I was on the Mercury staff.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Video coordinator for the first championship, and I was doing analytics on the second one.
A tier?
Wow.
No ring because Robert Sarver's a cheap motherfucker.
So hold on. So you don't have rings?
I have 2 championships, but I don't have any physical rings.
No, wait a minute. That means you don't have a ring.
Ringless.
Hold on. That means you don't actually have a ring. It's a ring in your personal record.
That's a
book.
revelation.
It's not a ring. The whole thing was stunning. The whole thing was stunning. But most stunning of all is that Amin is claiming to have a ring he doesn't have.
Well,
crazy.
I have 2 championships. And
No, you don't, because you don't have the ring.
We have a championship with the Cyclones. We don't have a ring. We don't go around saying that we got a ring.
Nope.
I mean, you do.
There's got to be a ring.
Rings is just like a metaphor for championship.
We got a banner.
Not a metaphor to me.
no.
It's a physical thing.
It's a jewel. It's a jewel with value. Less if the Marlins are giving it to you, more if the Heat are.
The value is in my mind.
No.
Did you get a pendant?
No.
Did you get a certificate?
David Sampson, I'd like to introduce you to Robert Sarver. I don't know perhaps if you're familiar with his exploits as an owner. Not exactly Mr. Moneybags.
Well, you do know that MLB, and I don't know about the NBA, but maybe we have a source. There is a pool of money that is given to each World Series champion that goes toward the cost of the rings. Oh. Now, every team spends more, including we spent more, because you get more rings than what is allocated, and you spend more per ring than what's allocated, but you get a nice little head start. I don't know whether the NBA does that for the WNBA.
I don't know, and I would venture probably not, or whatever that pool of money is significantly smaller than what would go to an NBA team or an MLB team. Either way, when presented with the opportunity to present rings to people, the essential staff, I would say, he neglected. He said,
Did the players get rings at least?
Players got rings.
Did you believe you were going to get one until you did not?
Yes, I kept asking, like, hey, what's happening here?
Wow.
This is pathetic. The whole
This
thing's
is
pathetic.
amazing.
The whole thing's pathetic.
Oh, by the way, also, I have an Olympic gold medal. Well,
What?
I was on the staff for the 2008 Redeem team. Didn't actually get a medal because only players get medals, but that's 3 championships in my record book.
Time out, Amin.
Yes?
You're an
You
Olympic gold
cannot say that you are a gold medalist. You can say that you worked with a team that won the gold medal or you worked with a team that won the WNBA championship, but you can't say you have a ring and a medal.
Hold on. Do you guys love the Redeem team? Do you guys love America?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
You're welcome.
USA all the way.
You're
I'm with
welcome.
David though. You gotta have a medal.
Put them back on the top. But
You gotta
no.
have the medal though to call yourself
A medalist.
a gold medal winner.
Okay, so hold on. So by the way, Coach K and his staff did not receive medals because they're the coaching staff. Are they not gold medalists?
I think he has to say we won the gold medal.
We won the gold medal. There you go. How about that?
Yeah.
No.
Way better.
No.
Is that a ruling?
Look, I'm making a ruling. Oh, is that a ruling from Judge Zaslow, or is it because I'd like to just put one more thing in front of the Your Honor?
Coach K and his staff at the Olympics, they won a gold medal. I rule that always with prejudice.
Okay, so I'm part of the staff.
Now,
Were you on the bench?
Hold on, because I'm going to find out how far down the bench do I have to go here. He does not have the actual gold medal. He does not have any of the rings.
Neither does Coach K.
He's saying he's a decorated champion. We've lost the decorations. No, the decorations can't be in your mind.
Decorations are right in here.
And in here, too.
The decorations are a valuable thing, and money is a tangible thing.
No
Dan, I
frills,
get it.
Al Hassan.
I get it. I love this country. You, maybe not so much. We just have like a different opinion there.
Whoa.
It's all right.
Wow.
I did everything I could to put this country back on top and succeeded.
Congrats.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Good work on that.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg, can I ask you a question
Sure,
that's
yeah.
been bothering me for like 25 minutes? Longer than that. How is I used to sing Robert Goulet songs in French a Boston bona fide? Yeah.
We were wondering about that.
So he came in here angry, and we should have ridden it into the sky. No one should have gotten into the way. We could have ridden that for a week. He's delirious. He's 10 minutes late. He had no idea what was going on in life, and he's coming in combative because he wants to fight me because he's mad at me for 2 days because I was an asshole to his son.
Right. And to me. But I'm used to it.
But I used to sing Robert Goulet songs in
Stick up in my
French.
blood.
That's what happens.
I don't understand how
been
that's a
happening.
Boston
It's been
thing.
happening since I've known him. He'll
mean,
just
that-
go into non sequiturs about Robert Goulet.
No, it's a memory of mine. My Auntie Arlene and my Uncle George, particularly my Uncle George, now that I think about it, used to sing Robert Goulet songs in French. I can't name a single one of the songs. I was never a Goulet fan. But he was popular in his day. Goulet, Robert Goulet. He was a bilingual, obviously, sang beautifully in French.
You don't
It's just a memory of
have
mine.
to
David,
be.
you know Robert Goulet.
Just a minute,
Come
Kevin
on now.
Millar.
Come on, guys.
He was in Beetlejuice.
Guys. We need to get our chemistry down. Okay, we've got David on remote, and we've got Greg Cody here. And when we play the WDEI music, we need everyone to get out of the way so Tony can do his mixed martial arts.
Euclid.
Oh, I get it now, yeah. Good
Thank
producing
you.
to hear
Thank
that.
you. Yes, you
repeated.
were late
That's
to the
good.
show. You would have known.
Yeah, I was late with cause.
So is that the same as judging with prejudice? Late with cause?
Late with cause is the overall.
Overruled.
Oh, please.
I don't know if David Sampson
Yeah,
can hear
that's a
us.
handsome man right
he
there.
he has gone out on sound. You guys can put him down and talk to him off air. We'll bring him back in a second. That is Robert Goulet.
God, look at those eyes.
The only connection
My
point I
aunt had a
have to
crush
Robert
on him.
Goulet is Will Ferrell doing Robert Goulet on SNL.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That's the only
Yeah.
idea I have of Robert
You
Goulet.
know, I will tell you the only thing you need to know about the illustrious beefcake that is Robert Goulet. There is something about the pronouncing of his last name with that flourish that makes him a little more of a sexual icon. And Goulet is Cody's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And it's how it is that we're doing Back in My Day again, and we're doing it live around here.
I've never been here for that.
Well, it's not Tuesday, so he's not doing it today. But the way that
Right,
we're
of
doing
course
it now is he just opines on the past in a way that's florid. And he's coming in here and he wants to talk about Sam Jones's bank shot, which we learned goes off of the side of the backboard
corner,
and
yeah,
then
corner
goes
bank
in.
shot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean everybody remembers Sam Jones, but the older you get, the more you cherish distant memories, in my opinion. And one of mine is to hear my uncle and my aunt singing Robert Goulet in the kitchen in French. It was so exotic,
Like swaying side to side, like in Catch Me If You Can.
It was just they would duet together, and neither one of them were trained singers, but it was sweet. It's a sweet memory. They're both long gone. My uncle was extremely overweight. That side of the family has had...
What does that have to do with anything?
Well,
painting a picture, man.
Look, the Codys are blessed.
Get out of the way. He's the writer. You're not going to say you're a writer. You're not going to say
when
you're
the
a
music
writer.
plays, you clear out.
The Codys are blessed. My brother and I, Uncle Dick, talk about this all the time. Both of my folks live to be very long. I'm filled with gratitude. The other side of the family, my Auntie Arlene and Uncle George, although my aunt did live into her early 90s. I almost said low 90s, like golf. I wish I could shoot low 90s.
Are the Codys overweight people?
No, my other side of the family tended to
The
be.
Le Batards are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we all know that.
Must be a French thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. You're on the air. Everybody sees it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Look at that look. Come on. It's self-evident.
Greg, who had sugar diabetes?
Is that Wild
in
Bill?
The family?
That was my Nana.
Nana
My
Doogie?
mother's, Nana Doogie.
Didn't she die of undercooked pork or something?
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
Others than my distant relatives did. Yeah, it's
Cody
nothing to
family lore.
laugh at, by the way.
No laughing matter.
I mean, back then,
Undercooked
it's like
pork.
sugar diabetes killed people back then.
It kills people now.
And nobody just called it diabetes, though. It was always sugar diabetes. So to this day, I tend to say sugar diabetes. But pork poisoning was also a big thing back then. And unfortunately, it affected a couple of people in my family. Not my aunt, not my grandmother, Nana. She cooked in 100-year-old oil. I think I've talked to you about that before. So she lived a short
Can't be
life
true.
as well. She died of sugar diabetes.
100-year-old.
Yeah.
It can't be. She didn't have in the kitchen 100-year oil that she just kept in a cupboard. What? That was,
She got it from the Rockefellers.
Oil lasts forever, as long as you strain it.
Put it on the poll. Does
Samson
oil
knows.
last forever as long as you strain it?
Right, it does.
I
It's a
just
fact, Jack.
100-year. You're claiming,
Jack.
Greg Cody. Are you claiming
Yeah.
as truth the same way you claimed as truth that you had seen Wilt Chamberlain's final game or 100-point game on video,
Yeah.
even though no video exists?
Yeah, that we know of.
Well, Greg knows of it.
Right.
Are you claiming that there is verifiable proof or even oral history proof in your household that would confirm that you are the descendant of an oil that was in the home for 100 years before your arrival?
Yes, that's the family legend.
There's no way that's true. There's no way the family just kept passing down oil and moving trucks and wagons and however it is that the overweight Codys were traveling.
Dan, it was the Depression. You couldn't just go out and buy more
Thank
oil.
you.
You had to preserve all your resources. This oil is perfectly good. All we have to do is strain it, and we can hand it down generation after generation.
Right. We don't realize how close the Depression is. My father's father used to drive around in a horse-drawn cart selling blocks of ice, big giant blocks of ice that he would carry in steel, black steel tongs.
Yeah.
And that's the way you earned money back then.
I'm in the Depression right now.
And that's how it was back in their day.
Yeah, not my day, thank God. Times have changed. Wow.
David, I have a business question for you because I saw some think pieces online. Did the streaming exclusive deals that MLB signed a few years ago, did that really hurt the sport? And a lot of people theorize this about MLS, a league that did not have the history that Major League Baseball had. Apple does not release the numbers when it comes to subscriptions, which is pretty telling. And now it was just announced by MLS Public Relations that Xfinity customers can get MLS Season Pass for free. Now, while that's exciting in terms of accessibility, because a lot of people have Xfinity, that's also a really bad sign for this league that tried to go exclusively behind a paywall. How do we read into this news?
Well, two things have happened, Mike, is that the reality is that the Apple MLS deal was probably done 3 to 5 years too early, It was Don Garber with the right idea at the wrong time. And they thought that with Messi really as the guardrail to it, that it would explode with popularity. And indeed, Messi even gets a piece of the business that Apple would have done with MLS. The problem is MLS wasn't mature enough as a league to garner being behind a paywall the way it was. So what Garber's done since then is they've slowly eroded that wall. They're like chipping away. You can get a game here, you can get a game there, you can get a game everywhere. Now Xfinity joins, and having the cable companies as a part of this is fascinating to me because they're trying to hold on as they're going to upfronts and announcing their streamers and all their direct-to-consumer stuff they're doing because they can't hold on. They're trying to bundle MLS now, which the other sports really would never allow, only because they're more mature in that way. And Mike, I just want to add on MLB, that was an article that came out 2 days ago that was just wrong. It was full of ESPN and Jeff Passan and full of people who were leaking stuff who don't understand anything. The deal with Roku and Apple actually provide more money per game than what ESPN is paying per game. The Apple deal for baseball is a good deal. It's a side-by-side, non-exclusive window deal. And ESPN is really going after MLB because they are hurt that MLB does not love them, want them, and is going to move on without them, which could hurt their new ESPN flagship DTC. So there's a lot going on in that regard, and that's why you saw that article.
Wow, yeah, that was curious. I never really thought about it like that it could just be ESPN spinning MLB here, because one Major League Baseball game, one random regular season game on a streamer, how does that hurt a sport that has so many games? Whereas with MLS, one game is a sizable piece of your regular season, depending on what competition you're in. So that was just all a countermeasure to win the public relations battle for ESPN?
That's what's happening. There is a major war going on right now between MLB and ESPN as ESPN finishes off the last year of a deal where MLB has walked away and opted out, as did ESPN. But MLB is going to match the $550 million. We talked about it on the Sporting Class with John Skipper. I've talked about it with Nothing Personal, that MLB will sell that package. But when you read an article that gets so much attention that impugns MLB's ability to sell their game, you know that's ESPN. It just reeked of all of the ESPN talking points. So people in the industry, both the buyers and the sellers, viewed all of that as noise and stupidity.
David, is that just pure pettiness, or is there a business reason behind why ESPN would do that?
Oh, ESPN has to negotiate with MLB because think about this, guys. They've got to get the rights to highlights. You're not allowed to show highlights of games without paying the league. And so if SportsCenter is going to do highlights during the summer when not much is going on, they need those rights, number one. Number two, for their DTC, which was just announced, called ESPN, at $29.99 a month, or $35.99 if you don't get the deal, or you could pay it by year and get a little discount, whatever. They've got to have stuff on there. They're not going to show curling. They're not going to show Richard Simmons. They need stuff to push onto that app, that flagship, that streamer, and it's got to be baseball. And if they're not going to get games, which they're not, they need the highlights, and they should not be warring with MLB because they're going to lose. And if they lose, ESPN thinks that they can't. But that shrinking platform, as described by Rob, and shrinking it is, and they're trying to go to the upfronts and pretend everything's all good with sports as sort of leading of the spear, and it's just not that way.
He's a business assassin. He is not a creative genius. So when he programs a channel, do not listen to him. It is unwise. Do not do it with the late Richard Simmons. That would be a bad idea. You should be more entertaining and creative than that. I will tell you that his business information, I've told you this before, that move, Mike, that you just pointed out, the move of the information guy being used by the entity to spread news that the listener, reader, is not sophisticated enough to digest. David Sampson and John Skipper have discussed the business of that. It's a little bit dirty, the business of that, in a way I haven't heard anywhere else. And David, what are you saying specifically to Jeff Passan, who it sounds like you're saying is doing someone's bidding as baseball's information guy?
Well, ESPN loses baseball, and Jeff Passan is a baseball insider. I'm not sure why you would need someone at the salary he's at, so He's, digging for his donuts. So, of course, you're going to be carrying the water for ESPN when you're trying to figure out when there's cuts going on everywhere other than the top level, which is not Jeff, obviously. The top level is getting the money, and you're trying to sort of dance for your dinner. I get it. I'm not disparaging him for carrying their water.
Yes, you
that
are.
seems like
Yes,
a smart
you are.
business.
This is one of the few times, for
Yes,
the
you
listener that
are.
isn't aware, this is one of the few times that Dave's personal feelings have gotten in the way of true analysis, I think, because there is a long-standing beef between Jeff
You
Passan and David
can't say you're
Sampson.
not disparaging him.
I've never
while-
met him.
Nothing
There's
personal.
no beef.
No, there is a beef.
I've never met him. He never once was in the Marlins clubhouse. Never got credentials.
Judge, hold on a second.
Don't
Judge,
know him.
Judge.
You can absolutely beef with someone you've never met. I rule. There's a beef.
What kind of beef is
There's
that?
a beef.
Wow, what are you beefing about?
Beef. You
With
can't say
prejudice.
you're not disparaging Jeff Passan while disparaging him. David, do you think, just out of curiosity, lawyer, do you think disparagement is when you decide it's disparagement?
Well, are you talking about the legal disparagement when we sign non-disparagement
No,
clauses?
I'm
I can
saying-
tell you
no,
what
I'm
it
not
means.
saying
this
you-
was not disparagement, Dan. This is me telling you the truth about Jeff Passan and his information and where he gets it and what he says and the value that he perceives he
That's
has
not
within
journalism.
the industry is zero.
That's not journalism. You're alleging, and I don't know who gets to judge this.
Go on.
That Jeff Passan isn't a journalist. He's not doing journalism there.
I am alleging that when Jeff Passan is carrying water for agenda-laden things like talking to you about the Pittsburgh Pirates and that they don't deserve to have Paul Skeens, that there is a level of carrying water that bases his opinion. I don't view him as a journalist. I view Jason Stark, Ken Rosenthal, other such people, Buster Olney, Peter Gammons, as people in that space. He is a quote-unquote insider who gets information. That's how you are an insider. Being an insider doesn't make you a journalist, Dan.
It's not business. It's just personal.
Nothing personal is great. We ran out of time. I'm sorry, David. You've got to go. Are you going to make a ruling here, Zaz?
Can't hear you, so see you later.
Are you more of a journalist than Amin El-Hassan because he reported the Timberwolves story of Jimmy Butler?
I don't have enough evidence because no one has presented to me whether or not Amin has a degree in journalism.
All right. I need more time to make a ruling.
You don't need more time. I plead guilty. I'm not a journalist. I've never said I was a journalist. I never went to journalism school.
And then Halbrand comes in and Halbrand tries to kill him and everyone's like, well, why would Halbrand kill him if he's Sauron and this is a servant of Sauron? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We're not sure yet. I kind of think he is. And then fast forward, the little sword thing that they had, it was wrapped up in like a burlap sack and the little kid is about to throw it like into the Sundering Sea or whatever to get rid of it forever. He opens it, the sword's gone. It's a decoy. This old creepy guy stole it, took it back to the Elven Tower, which used to be where there was dark magic happening, shoved it in the ground, turned it. It created a chain reaction. All this water starts pouring in underground where the orcs have been tunneling, the Orc army. And Mount Doom erupts, and it covers the sky in ash.
He just won with Jeremy Taché.
Because Jeremy was an alleged journalist last night. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Jeremy, who is an up-and-comer in the broadcasting game and is someone who has now journalistic credentials around, literal credentials around the Heat and the Marlins. Yesterday he was hosting. And this is one of the great things, Stugotz, this time of year. We get it so infrequently around here in South Florida. But South Florida has always done this well. The rest of the country always makes fun of, you guys don't care about that sports that much. You're bandwagon people. All right. Many of us are. Not everyone is. The loyalists are super loyal. But Miami does the bandwagon better than anybody. Miami does. Everyone now show up for the party. And so you have, stunningly, a hockey arena in the Everglades. Like surrounded by airboats and alligators, filled with people to do the wave, watching the game on television. And at the Heat, across the street from us last night, Jeremy Tessier is watching the end of that game with a lot of people who are excited. And Stugotz, I'm getting a lot of this. Jimmy was out of bounds, and it ended up being a 3. That was a goaltend ref culture win. Okay, whatever. Tell it to the people who were yelling and screaming around Jeremy.
How about this? 1-1, we're coming home.
Okay, who's we?
Yeah, I mean, I took the Heat in 5. Anyone else?
He's right.
All right, the Knicks are watching this like everybody
2
else.
rounds ago.
It was a long time ago, understandably. Here's Jeremy Tessier not being a journalist while covering, again, an arena filled with people, but no players or athletes were there.
You're catching us right now as the Miami Heat have just won Game 2 of the NBA Finals. You can see that this crowd here is hoisting babies into the air. This crowd is ready from the moment this game started, and it has continued here as the Miami Heat have just upset the Denver Nuggets. We got fans going crazy. We're high-fiving. Everybody's ready for an unbelievable night right here in Miami. The Kaseya Center was ready for a great night from the jump, as this energy around the entire lower bowl was electric from the moment this game started until the moment it ended. As we pan out to the rest of the crowd, you can see the entire lower bowl going absolutely crazy to end this game. The Miami Heat have just won it as Jamal Murray's shot has not gone in. I cannot believe what I've witnessed around me. There were moments in the fourth quarter where I couldn't hear myself think. I don't even know if you can hear me on the microphone. What a night at the Kaseya Center as the Miami Heat take their first game, their first win in Denver, and I know that this crowd right here is ready for an unbelievable party.
NFL schedule dropped yesterday, which is actually a super exciting day for not just fans of certain teams, but also free agent fans like myself that like to travel to the biggest games of the regular season. All the primetime standalone games seem really fun. I think I know where I'm going to be week 1, and that's in Denver. As everybody with a pulse is probably going to take Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos in their survivor pool, I'm going to be back in Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. That seems like a hard ticket to get. You know where I'm going to get those tickets?
Game Time.
The Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Hopefully that purchase is to watch Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
No primetime games for Cam Ward next year.
That's not rare. Well, that is a little rare. Like, they're not even on a Thursday night.
No primetime games for the number 1 pick in the draft. I want to announce to people that I'm a bit frightened right now. This doesn't actually happen to me very often. You guys know I like to play with fire a little bit, right? So I ended accidentally Bert Kreischer and Bill Burr's podcast by poking Bill Burr on the nose and then just sort of backpedaling the whole time because I'm very afraid of comedians when they're agitated and emotional, but I also like when they're agitated and emotional. So when I'm interviewing Anthony Jeselnik on South Beach Sessions, I'm beginning from a point of being a little afraid. I don't want to make a mistake here that's going to make this person like cut my face off because he's been funny since he's 9 years old and angry since he's 9 years old. And the problem I have right now is I know how good Sam Morril is at comedy, but I also know how not in the mood he is for us today. And not in the mood. We have a treasure right now in that we have acidic, dark Sam Morril right now after just a crushing Knicks loss. And I know he doesn't want to be on with us, and I know he doesn't want to do this, but this is actually a get today, a Knicks fan willing to be hurt publicly today. So, Sam, you honor me by making time in your schedule to do this. I'm sorry we're doing this to you today.
Well, first of all, Dan, not in the mood has never stopped you, from what I hear from your wife. Also, yeah, I'm not in the mood to be here. I told you that last time. It was a bad loss, but you pushed and you pushed. And this Bert Kreischer, Bill Burr thing, if you feel so bad about it, why do you bring it up every 5 fucking minutes? Well, I feel so bad I ended Bert and Bill's podcast. You mention it every time I talk to you. Hopefully Tony can behave as well on this episode. I mean, this is a mess last time, so yeah, I'm not in the mood to talk about the Knicks right now.
Tony, you took, I don't think it's a stray, actually. I don't think Tony knows essentially what it is that you're talking about, but we'll get back to that in a second. Billy betrayed you recently, not unlike Zaz recently betrayed Amin. But Sam, how are you feeling today? Did you have trouble sleeping last night? Because I was saying before you came on here that
I didn't sleep, Dan. I'm like Donovan Mitchell after his loss. I didn't sleep. I feel like shit. I'm hungover. We're gonna win on Friday, but you know, look, the Boston team came together. What can you do? That you lost your star, and they played a great game. It was very frustrating to watch.
I worry for your team because I was making the argument before you came on here that the Celtics are championship great because they're built for threes. They can hit 25 of them whether or not Tatum's playing. So you have to fear that going into the Garden because the Garden hasn't closed out a playoff opponent this century.
Well, do you feel any guilt, Dan?
About Tatum?
About you going on here and being like, where's his moment? Where's Jason Tatum's moment? And then he tears the Achilles. He got a moment because of you. You jinxed him.
Well, he had one before that when he's been injured before in big moments and been physically hurt. I remember those moments. They are moments for him. I remember them.
I bet you'll get a Nico Harrison Dallas welcome next time you go to Boston.
You can't sit there and claim that I created a moment for Jason Tatum, but it was.
Am I the first one to say this? I can't possibly be the first.
It was his most memorable moment of the playoffs.
It was. No, he had 42 before that went down. He was
That's
good.
not a moment. 42 is 42 moments.
Okay.
Huh?
I realized I was talking to a nerd. All right. Yeah, look. Boston's still tough without him. What can I say? I think we're going to win on Friday, but they're still fucking good. What do you want from me, Dan? It was an annoying game to watch. We showed no desire. They called 5 fouls on Brunson in 9 minutes. What the fuck was that? What am I watching? He breathed on Jaylen Brown. And I'll tell you, I wanted to hate. Have I told you that I met Jaylen Brown? I wanted to hate him, but he was actually a good guy.
Isn't that the worst? With someone you want to hate?
I did a fashion show at the Apollo don't ask me why. They had
You did a fashion show where?
It was at the Apollo in Harlem. It was like me, Marlon Wayans, Dion Cole. It was a stacked lineup of comics. It's a fashion show crowd. They sucked. I bombed. And I'm in the green room and Jaylen Brown walks in. I'm like, oh, of course a Celtic just witnessed that fucking bomb. Jesus Christ. This is all I need to make my night worse. And he came over to me and he was like, that was so fucking funny. He was so cool. And I talked to him for like 15, 20 minutes. He was great. But he did tell me that they were going to rip the Knicks' throats out on opening night, and they did. He did get me there. But yeah, I mean, you call Brunson a flopper. What the fuck is Jaylen Brown? Brown has been playing so dirty the last couple games. It's insane.
You're so mad.
It's a lot of F-bombs from
It's just-
from
but
Sam,
it's just-
and it's
it's
like coming
fine,
out naturally
well, but
because of
this-
what
I'm
happened.
sorry I messed up your family show, Dan. I'm sorry, this little fucking morning show. I didn't know I was on live with Kathy Lee or whatever the hell. Sorry, Kelly. I don't know who even has the show anymore. I'm so angry.
How did your morning show shenanigans go the last time we talked to you when you were surrounded by fentanyl?
It was such a fucking disaster that I'm holding it. I'm not releasing it until I make a movie, and it'll be in the movie. It was that ugly. It was that weird and uncomfortable.
Wow. Because they're hard. It's hard to surprise anybody now. It's hard to be.
Yeah, but we did it. We did it. We pulled it off. But I have to save that one. I don't want the world to see that one until the movie comes out.
Oh, so it's that good. You're saying
Yeah.
that. Oh, okay, that uncomfortable. Wow. So you're saying it was transcendent.
Yeah, it was probably me at my best.
Is this better than when Gary wore a gimp suit?
It was better.
Jesus.
Because this time Gary refused to put on the gimp suit, and the guy had no idea what we were talking about, and we got a fight on. It's too good to even explain. I'm saving it.
We've talked to you about a little bit about the movie you're making. Not very much though about the movie you're making. What can you tell people about it, or what do you want people to know about it?
Nothing. It'll be out next year, but I'm making a movie myself, financing myself because I don't want to. Even if you get funding, man, they take 2 fucking years. It takes forever to get people on board. I'm in the process of making something else, and it takes 2 months to set a meeting with these lazy fucks who live in their Apple store looking offices in LA who don't work, but they pretend to work. We all get up to work.
The studio is real, right? Seth Rogen's The Studio is real.
It's all real. These people don't work. It's like Yom Kippur turns into like, you're like, oh, we're off Yom Kippur through MLK Day. I'm like, I don't, yeah, those aren't related. It's maddening. They're maddening to work with. So I'll just make something myself. I'll just put in my own money, and we got amazing cameos in it too. But that's all I can say. I don't want to share anymore because I want it to be a surprise.
Sam, is there a part of your Knicks fandom that once Tatum went down, you're like, oh, now we might actually lose because the expectation is that we're going to win. Like, this might actually work against us, and also it just means more Derek White, and I almost fear him more.
No part of that did not. You just put that in my brain. That was not in my brain.
You should fear that guy. You should fear that guy. That guy always answers the bell.
That's a champion.
I'm more scared. I'm the most scared of Derek White for sure. He's so annoying because he's one of those he's like that player that your dad loves. He's just like a perfect player. He's so annoying. He doesn't miss a shot. He's a great defender, although Brunson did cook him. And my hope is that like the Celtics, as good as they are, I do think Horford and Holiday, for the first time ever, look kind of old. That being said, White and Pritchard scare me more than anyone.
Oh, but this is the part that's scary, right? I feel like I may have been misidentifying in previous conversations with you some of what I was doing because of the role Tatum plays. You and I have been talking about the idea of how hard it is to be the third player on one of these teams with this ego, and Drew Holiday's been a champion there for a while. But when Drew Holiday's your fifth best player, because Porzingis and Derek White are better, when Drew Holiday's your fifth best player, even sort of washed, I'm telling you, I'm still scared of that team even without Jason Tatum. If their other guys are healthy, they're as good as everybody but OKC, even without Tatum.
I agree with you. I agree with you. They're scary, man. And I mean, what the hell happened to Porzingis? Though, did someone put a spell on him? He fucking stinks.
He's ill. He couldn't
breathe.
He's ill.
He's been ill for 2 months. He's 26 years old. I didn't realize, I had the flu for 12 days. I'm an out-of-shape alcoholic, This guy can't recover in 2 months. He's a pro athlete.
Well, if you're going to start asking me what's happening with the bodies of the 7'3" people, like in sports, we're making athletes bigger and stronger and weirder shape than ever before.
We haven't talked. Speaking of athletes, we haven't talked enough about the Luke Cornett revenge game.
I know. Look. I didn't know he was Ben Wallace when the Knicks need something. It's like, of course he turns into like though it was insulting that he had 7 blocks, but then when he threw down that reverse backwards alley-oop dunk, I was like, that's like a Stromile Swift dunk. That's not even I've never seen a white player do that dunk ever. Needless to say, like a 7-foot attitude. That was insane. I was like, at that point, you're just like, just take it. Just take the fucking game. Go away.
Do you like his nickname, the White Howard?
I haven't heard that one. When he was on the Knicks, we called him the Unicornet, because we had the unicorn and I mean, it's crazy that he and Porzingis were both Knicks, but the White Howard's better. I'll give you that.
What kind of shape are you going to be in later today? Because we've been talking about the emotional fandom here of, man, if you're going to make me spike around going on a comedy tour, I'm making a meeting, I'm making a movie, I'm drinking after shows, and also my heart is breaking because I'm going from that's the best sports feeling I've had in 25 years to that kind of feels like the worst sports feeling I've had in 25 years. Your life's a bit careening right now.
I'm probably going to die young, dude. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, I feel like shit. I'm hungover. I don't sleep ever. I just got off of like a 50-city tour. I'm tired. Look, that wasn't the worst loss we've had. I mean, game that low was not as high as the high on Monday. So I look, we still.
But the end of this series would be if you lose the next 2 games, the low's going to be lower than the high was.
Yeah, dude, I got a ceiling fan in my room. I'm gonna check the weight. I'll put it that way. That might be it for me. That might be the last time I come on your dumb little family show here. Fuck this show. And fuck you for bringing that up. It's not going down that way. Knicks in 6.
Yeah, it'd be embarrassing with no Tatum and no Porzingis. I mean, how can you lose to that team?
Yeah, well, either way, we destroyed the Celtics. So how do you like them apples?
Sam, what happens if you have a show and to Knicks finals game?
The victory's the injury? The victory's Tatum's being out for a year?
First off, I purposely didn't. I even have a benefit on the books that I said if the Knicks have a game, I'm not coming.
Okay.
Wow.
F them kids.
That's real.
I purposely did not book any gigs past this, so I have nothing really big till July. I did 50 cities already. I got it out of the way. So yeah, no shows. Also, I just want to see Portnoy shut up. I'm sick of his dumb videos.
So Sam, let me. This opens the door. I want to ask you this question because yesterday a ruling came down that Spike Lee has lost his number one fandom.
I don't remember making that ruling.
Well, you weren't here. The alternate judge would say that. Well, no, it's open. It's open now because he skipped the Knicks playoff game to go to the Met Gala, and that's you just said right now you'd skip benefits, you skip a show if the Knicks had a finals game on that day. He skipped a playoff game to go to the Met Gala, so we stripped him of his number one fandom. But now we open it up, and so there's a lot of people applying. We got McEnroe, we've got Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan. Chalamet.
Sam.
I respect Chalamet. He goes to every game. He goes on the road, so you got to show him respect. It's hard to take away Spike's keys, man. That guy was he was paying for tickets in like this late 60s. Spike is old,
But I feel like he's been riding that story for years now.
No, but wait a minute. make the accusation that made you officially take it away from Spike. He chose the Met Gala over a Knicks playoff game.
And Steve Martin was a prop comic.
No, but I'm saying, tell him, lean on the specifics of it.
Well, the specifics are like, hey, man, if you're going to make that choice, it sounds like you're not that big of a fan. I'm just saying, like the Met Gala to get dressed up. Like
Met Galas every year.
Every year.
I will say that Spike disappeared for a couple years when Brooklyn came to New York. I will say that.
That sounds like he's coming a little over to your side.
So, Sam.
Yeah.
Are you a candidate for the number one Knicks fan?
Wow.
No, I think I don't like this like number one Knicks fan shit. What are we doing? This is what you non-Knicks fans do. You try to turn us against each other.
Well, Stephen A. is the number one Knicks fan right now. Stephen A. is clearly the number one Knicks fan.
100%.
Obviously.
The number one most annoying Knicks fan. I'll give you that. He's a pain in the ass. No one likes him. Apparently our ESPN numbers are terrible. You can't convince me that fucking cancer isn't part of it. No, he's not in the running. No Knicks fan would say he's in the running. There's no number one fan. Knicks Twitter is just a beautiful, holy place where the fans come to talk and share funny memes. And I think we kept it classy about Tatum, which is why we're the best fan base.
I bet it's closer to hell.
No, it's not hell. Philly Twitter is hell. That's fucking hell.
I believe that.
Let me tell you something.
What about hockey Twitter?
If Tatum tours ACL again, or I'm sorry, if Jason Tatum tours Achilles against the Sixers, tell me that fan base would have been classy. They would have been sending fucking flowers, that said "fuck you, Tatum." That would have been nice.
Flowers are kind of classy. I like that.
But it would have been a misdirect. It would have said, "Here's flowers." You're like, "Oh, Philly's nice," and then it would have said, "Fuck you." Don't tell me the Knicks fans. We all obviously applaud Tatum. We know he's a great player, and we felt terrible that happened. So, but Philly, they would have been loving that shit.
Can you play for me, Chris, me accurately predicting and celebrating the victory lap in general of what it is that I was rooting in for this Boston-New York series?
Tatum's injury?
No,
rooting for his injury?
I'm rooting.
The moment?
I'm rooting for Boston fans and New York fans to both suffer. I don't know how we achieve that, but we're on our way so far. And the way I feel about both the Knicks and the Celtics fan base make it so that this game, I want the Meteor to win. I want both teams to explode, both teams to lose, both teams to get injured.
Not a good look, Dan.
Ouch.
I wasn't rooting.
I don't know why you're such an angry person. You have a nice life down there. You have a very nice wife. You have a great studio. You got a good morning show here.
Nice family show.
The fucking problem is why you're so angry. Why are you so angry living in sunny Florida with a good life, you prick? Why can't you let me be happy for once? Because your fucking team imploded? Because Tyler Hero's your best player? Fuck off.
I think that's a good dismount.
Yeah,
I think that's a good.
That's a suey. That's a suey for
I
dismissal.
don't think I could do better than that. Any parting words for Tony here before you go though? Because you've got to.
Eat shit, Tony, and eat shit, Dan.
What?
Both of you can suck my fucking dick.
Go to
Okay,
hell,
there it
Morrow.
goes. All right,
And
there
fuck
it is.
I almost saw you at the
Miami
Doral
Beach.
Improv. I'm glad I didn't.
No, what are you doing? He was great. What do you mean? What?
What?
Are you feuding?
You just told him to suck a dick.
Yeah, I told him. I almost saw him and I
shouldn't-
didn't.
he's-
Should have been funnier. Rat bastard.
I told you I worried about playing with these guys when they're angry.
You love playing with guys when they're angry from what I've heard.
All righty. See you later, Sam.
Hey, yo.
That's a dismount.
Got him.
Oh my God, what a great show!
What is that? What is that sign? Why did you get
We've
that
needed
sign?
it recently.
Yeah,
We've needed it recently.
Yeah.
Where did
We're
you
on
get
air,
that?
Dan.
I can't believe.
If
That's
I
actually
turn it
really good for
around,
Greg.
Don't turn it around. Don't turn it around.
Go back, go back.
Yes, yes.
Yes. That is huge for Greg as well.
Thank you. I like that. It's like one of those things at a golf tournament where they hold up a little sign.
I
Family-
want.
family show.
Why is that not sponsored? That is the best thing Metal Arc Media has made right there.
Just made it right
That's
now.
why it's not sponsored.
We
just
literally,
made it. You
in
did
the
not
middle
know
of the
it was
Sam Morril segment,
one-
we made it.
No one knew it was
I
around.
have been told that DraftKings has brought its highest ranking talent in here to help us with things that should be well sold around here. And I just saw a paddle that should have a sponsor on it that is the best thing Metal Arc Media has
You
made.
have bad ideas sometimes.
Sell a paddle.
The honest to God helpful paddle to let you know when we're on air should not be sponsored. And I'm really regretting them walking in during that interview specifically where we set a record for F-bombs.
The most truthful thing Dan has ever said is, I don't know anything about business, and every day you prove it when you want us to sponsor things like a paddle.
This is why it would be funny to sponsor the paddle, though. If you were to be able to get my attention with something that shows, Dan, all of the dollars will be gone right now. All of the dollars if you don't know that you're on air because you're going to do without judgment what Sam just did.
Let's put a little DK logo on that for
Sold.
the time being. That's added value.
Sponsored by
That is
DK.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Put a little crown on top.
Oh, there you
A
go.
little added V right there.
Thank you. So was that so hard? Look at how a bad idea turns into a good idea, just like
No
that.
such thing as a bad idea, Dan.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
there's
Yes,
plenty.
and.
There's plenty of bad ideas.
Sam Morril was one of them. Sam Morril angry was one of them.
We spun that into a win.
I
unless
disagree with you.
So does our editor.
He's mad at me now, and that's not fake. He's not. He's mad. Look, man, Knicks fans don't. Please understand, God Almighty, this fan base is desperate for a good story. Azari was on yesterday telling you this is the biggest thing this town has known. This is the team we love the most. You've seen how loud they get off one playoff win. They've had nothing for 25 years. All of a sudden, hope. Here it is, the biggest hope they've had in 20 years. Their parents are losers when it comes to the Knicks fans. That's what got hand-me-down. They love this team. The Celtics are scary. And now the Celtics are the underdog. They liked it when they were the underdog.
Guys, I have to stop us, okay? Because as funny as it is to laugh at Knicks fans, we just came off a heater of an interview where we were laughing directly in one's face and he got really mad. We've been sitting on this sound of Steve Dangle,
so good,
a Maple Leafs fan that was doing a live watch along with the Maple Leafs, and quite honestly, we should have came out the gates with this because there is nothing better. Now I do this post game. I'm known to do that. When Boston loses, I run to WEEI. I want to soak up all those tears. WDEI. There was a live in progress watch along with a huge Maple Leafs fan in a game that they went down 6-0 in. So you gotta believe, for a team that hasn't made it past the second round but once in the last 24 years, all right, they absolutely got devastated and realized that, oh no, we've been counting on Mitch Marner and the Toronto Maple Leafs to take care of business. This was a moment in time. Celebrate it with me.
Mitch, what was that? Here come the Panthers off a spinny backhand pass, and they score! Mitch, what on earth are you friggin' doing? What was going through your head when you did that? major malfunction. What made you think that was the move? The Panthers have Jesper friggin' Boquist up on their top line tonight, and he just buried you clowns. 3-0 in your own barn halfway through a game 5? You guys suck!
So that's all Knicks fans. That's all of them.
We have one more clip.
Bit more efficient.
Guys, play the next one.
That is what the Panthers did in Toronto last night. The champions reminded everybody that they're back in the league, and I told you the whole thing was haunting. Like, it was silent, and that's what was in the background. That was, listen to me, that's a country. That's a country that is afraid of the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, how about in the middle of the game? It was probably when it was 4-0, right? Buddy took off his Austin Matthews sweater and threw it onto the ice. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We see the videos of burning the jerseys, throwing them in the garbage. He took it off and threw it onto the ice during the game.
How are Maple Leafs fans trying to spin that into a win after last night? Do you understand like what happened to that crowd midway through the second period?
No.
If that had
Mike,
happened in
first
South
goal,
Florida.
First goal.
No. I understand that they went silent. I'm
No, but
talking
they
about
left.
evacuating the
left.
premises
Right.
and making it so that it was like an eighth full
It was
of
a
what
fire
it was
drill.
before the game. They left. They quit on their team. They got up and left.
By the way, the other sad thing was the broadcast kept showing Jurassic Park outside, and it was just like 7 people standing
Put
around.
sad Jurassic Park in my veins.
How do you stay? If you're in Jurassic Park, watch it. It's 4-0, it's 5. You're still there? Move on with your life. What are you doing?
The part that I find best about this, though, and God, guys, like, you really have to celebrate when you have this in your town.
Are we not doing that?
When this is the thing that you have that scares people, very few fan bases get to feel that for years. Like, you have the thing that frightens people and frightens them at 1-0.
They're not just frightened of the Florida Panthers, though. They're frightened of the weight of the Leaf on their sweater because that team is a loser franchise.
Right, they're frightened that this is their life.
Yes, and we kind of knew it the whole time. Like, you went up 2-0, but the Panthers have just been sloppy. You haven't been playing well. When we get our game right, you're toast. Why? Because you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're counting on Mitch freaking Marner.
Now, as a non-hockeyman, I have to ask this question. I've been told the Toronto Maple Leafs are kind of like the Knicks of hockey, where it's like they won some championships a long time ago, and it's a huge city that lives on that history but hasn't had any success recently, and they look down on everyone else, kind of like, not success, I mean, talking about championship success.
Yes. The short answer is yes, but I would say the difference is the Knicks fan, I think the Knicks fan thinks every year they're going to be good. The Leafs fan knows what happened last night is coming.
No. Let me correct you there. You saw Sam. The Knick fan, the real Knick fans, right? The ones that grew up in the 90s are all waiting for something bad to happen. Even as it gets great, it's like, oh my God, this is awesome.
They're pretending like they're not.
They're all worried. Oh my God, here's how it goes. Here's how our heart breaks, right? So last night, right, they're up 3-1. Say, so what? We lost the game. We're coming back to the Garden, whatever. No, secretly like, Jesus, this is what happens. We blow a 3-1 lead when Tatum is out. In some way, some of them are upset that Tatum got hurt. Because kind of with Tatum out there, if you win, you lose. Because they're like, well, the Celtics are a great team. But now with no Tatum, it's like, no, this is how we blow it after we had every advantage.
They booed them off the ice in the second period yesterday.
I know, that was great.
I had goosebumps.
I don't understand why the swaggering bravado from Maple Leafs fans. They were chanting, "We won Florida" a year after they tried that. And
I mean, how about Twitter after Game 2? It was like
you turn into TNT and Biz is confident. It's like, what are you guys not aware? With the Knicks, they feel
Don't
like
you
the bottom's
know who
gonna,
you are?
Why? How do you not know who you are? I'm from South Florida.
I know who I am.
I didn't see snow until I was like 34 years old. How do I know who you are better than you?
Tony, you know who you are?
Absolutely.
Chris, you know who you are?
Damn right.
I mean, you know who you are?
Every damn day.
I know who I am. Leafs don't know who they are.
You guys say this, but I would say to you as it regards the Knicks, when you talk about swaggering bravado, Knicks fan is awfully loud. We're painting with one brush here. Knicks fan was feeling him and herself at 3-1, and some of them were fearing the disaster, but many of them are not. We got Brunson. It's a different day. We got the beloved guy, and I will say this again, we're the underdog. It's easy. The favorite's not easy, man. People, you can testify to this. I've heard again and again, the Minnesota Timberwolves are not mature enough. Why aren't they mature enough? Because they are a team that does not know how to win as favorites. It's not because they're young. It's because they don't know what it takes to win when everyone expects you to win. Brunson, you're expected to win now. Knicks, you're expected. You're favored to win in the Garden. That's different. And they're ready to turn on their team if somebody goes 1 for 9. If they turned on Anunoby yesterday like that, they're ready to turn on their team in this moment.
Well, I will testify to this as a 2-time WNBA champion and an Olympic gold medalist.
Go on.
That, yes, the heavy is the head that wears the crown, Dan. And when you're the favorite, when you're on top, you don't have the benefit of the doubt. It's like when we talk about NFL preseason, right? If you play well in the NFL preseason, what do people say? Yeah, it's a preseason, doesn't matter. But if you play poorly, oh my God, you're awful, right? There's no upside, it's all downside. And that's a place where Knicks fans know. They've lived there for years and years where there's no upside and everything's a downside. With regard to the Minnesota Timberwolves, it is because they're immature and they don't execute. Now, they've been better this year. You got to give them credit, Curry or no Curry. They've executed when it came time to put their foot on the throat. Anthony Edwards did it. I think everyone trusts Anthony Edwards. It's the other characters that we wonder about.
Also, Knicks fans right now have zero excuses available to them. With no Tatum, with a shell of Porzingis, and we all talk about Tatum, nobody talks about Porzingis, 20-point scorer, a shell of himself. If you blow a 3-1 lead to a team missing 2 of its stars, you're an embarrassment.
If you blow a 3-1 lead to Luke Cornett and Derek White, that's what this is.
Okay.
That's what this is all about.
I want to talk to you guys because I don't want to leave this this Toronto situation very much because the suffering of historically bad fan bases, so much is happening in sports right now that we weren't even able to mock the Cavaliers for being the Cavaliers in the last round because we just skipped right past that. So I want to get back to this Toronto Maple Leafs fanalist, a podcaster who's being hurt by I don't want the short sound. I want just all the crazy. This is halfway through the game.
It's a shame that you were listening on radio while it had some benefits. This play that he is right to flip out over
patience.
This play.
Well, no, Marner bad turnover, but the Reinhart patience with the pass.
It's incredible. And by the way, Sam Reinhart would have had one of the coolest goals of all time if that goal actually went in, that he kicked up from his skate and in midair slapped his stick at. And it did generate a goal, so it was a smart hockey play. And one thing that you can count on Sam Reinhart to do, because the offensive game hasn't been there in terms of results, but that dude on the defensive end, he's somehow turning it up when his team needs him. Mitch Marner is a really good defender, and his defense yesterday was pathetic. It was a pathetic effort from somebody who's going to cash out this summer. He's going to make max money in that sport, and he's someone who people have openly questioned in the playoffs. Austin Matthews as well. For those 2 stars, we'll worry about Austin Matthews. Like, he needs to score goals. But at least he's a captain. He was showing effort in that last 2 minutes. What Mitch Marner was doing last night was so pathetic. The fact that guy has 2 shots in his last 4 games is insulting to anybody that's ever worn blue in Toronto.
Mike, Austin Matthews has appeared in 10 playoff games in the second round in his career. All 10 of those are against the Florida Panthers. Donut. 0
This is
goals.
The best American hockey player by consensus, Austin Matthews.
Well, he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be.
He's losing that title as we speak.
Overrated? Overrated?
Exceptionally overrated.
Exceptionally overrated.
Don't forget that Four Nations final. Who let Connor McDavid wide open in the high slot. It was Austin Matthews.
Greg Cody, are you willing in the second round of the playoffs to escalate these playoffs to the place that last year's playoffs escalated to?
Sure.
Billboards for McDavid that he's overrated. You're now saying exceptionally overrated?
Yes, he's supposed to be the best U.S.-born player in the league. Obviously, it's Matthew Tkachuk, but he's a puddle on the ice right now, Austin Matthews. He's done nothing for that team in this series. If I'm a Leafs fan looking for a scapegoat, I start with Austin Matthews in this series. I start with him.
I don't even think Matthews is the best Tkachuk.
There you go.
You better be careful saying
I
that
love
out
Matthew.
loud.
Matthew
You didn't
Tkachuk
say
is my
that.
favorite hockey player of all time.
Don't say that out loud.
He's better than
Take
Brady.
it back.
Come on.
No, he's not better than Brady.
Okay.
He's not better than Brady Tkachuk.
Okay.
Brady Tkachuk is unbelievable. He's better defensively. He's
Take it
bigger.
back.
He's more dependable and consistent goal scorer. Brady Tkachuk is a superior player. I love Brady Tkachuk. We're all Americans here. Come on, what are we doing?
Which do you think was a better feeling? Brad Marchand scoring the game-winning overtime goal in Game 3.
Deflected.
Or what Brad Marchand was feeling after he got his game misconduct last night, walking off the ice, and
The
that
smirk.
Maple Leafs fan yelling whatever he was yelling at him, and
smirk.
Marchand smiling and saying to himself, I effing own you.
And that Maple Leafs fan, if you read the lips, he is going hard. He is wearing all 6 of those goals that are on that scoreboard. There are F-bombs flying out of his mouth. He is saying vile stuff.
Look
to
at the
Brad
Panther
Marchand.
employee behind, just clutching his pearl.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, but let it be stated for the record, okay? I think we all know this. When I don't need the scoreboard to know that it's 6-1. Marchand wins if you're the fan that's down 6-1 yelling at him F you. In that particular instance, he doesn't have to do anything but smile because that is utopia for Marchand. Marchand walking into your country, looking your fans in the face and you're F-bombing him on the way out, he couldn't get this feeling in Boston. He had to go to Florida to get that feeling.
I didn't know I worked for the Panthers.
It does look like you a little bit. One person that I don't question on the Maple Leafs, though, is William Nylander. When he's out there, he gives it his all. William Nylander has had 4 straight rushes at the net, unopposed, and Sergei Bobrovsky, over the last 2 games, has been so dynamite. Those are
Standing
massive.
on his head.
And let's not forget the Matthew Nyes breakaway against the Panthers that could have put the Panthers in a 3-0 hole. Sergei Bobrovsky deserves more praise in this playoff run, I think, so far than he got last year.
Do you realize playoff Bob is a thing? I'm shocked by it, but Chris Cody just said in my ear, he was not joking. He just said, because he said it out loud to everybody, stand on his head. He stood on his head. And then he said to me, I have no idea what that phrase means.
I hear him say it all the time, though. It's a hockey thing.
It's you're making goal saves while on your head.
It's something that is exclusive to attendees and keeps.
It's a prison term too, right? You doing a bit like do it on my head, that means it doesn't matter. I do that.
I've never been in prison.
Well,
I don't know.
What are you doing on your head in prison?
You don't want to know.
I'm upside down.
I would do so poor in prison.
A vending machine for sex.
What, you have them paying?
It would go so poor.
Just a revolving door.
Be like the bevy machine. It's just.
Let's play the long clip there, please. Give me the long video clip of that fanalist going crazy. Again, I will repeat, this is halfway through the game. It got worse after that. This is the pain halfway through.
Mitch, what was that? Here come the Panthers off a spinny backhand pass, and they score. Mitch, what on earth are you friggin' doing? What was going through your head when you did that? What is your major malfunction?
Odd thing to
What
say.
made you think that was the move? The Panthers have Jesper friggin' Boquist
It's such a good
up on their top line tonight,
Put some respect on his name.
and he just buried you clowns. 3-0 in your own barn halfway through a game 5? You guys suck!
Live odds, Florida minus 1,000 at the time, too, is a nice little touch.
Do you realize that right there, if I could put it in a scrapbook for all time and bury Marchand in a box right now, he'd say, remember me that way. I do that to people. Just please remember me forever. That's what I do to people. It sounds like love. It sounds like joy. Marchand went to bed last night looking like Zaslow at the end of the game. Just he beat you 6-1. You hate him and you can't sleep anymore.
Again on Thursday on your audio feeds and in the full show, and of course separately on YouTube on Friday. But we've got an actual good trivia competition between myself and Chris Cody this week. We make up for our horrendously embarrassing showing last week. So if you didn't watch last week's episode and you don't like myself or Chris, which, you know, it happens, you should probably go watch that episode because you'll enjoy watching our failure. But this week it's good. This week it's good. And David Sampson joins me because I wanted to have an in-depth conversation with him, not just about a couple of important things in 2025 Major League Baseball, like Pete Crow Armstrong's stardom and the horrendous Colorado Rockies, but this Rafael Devers situation in Boston is one of the most peculiar player front office debacles that I have ever seen in Major League Baseball. It's not something we normally see in that sport. David uniquely qualified to discuss it. We have a really interesting conversation back and forth. You will get that and everything else across Major League Baseball on this week's episode of The Pitch Clock. Always on Thursdays on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Hey Le Batard fans, Logan Hackett here, and this week on Goodfollow, we're previewing the WNBA season and breaking down each team in the Eastern and Western Conference with our very own Monique Billings, who plays for the Golden State Valkyries. Plus, Roz is sitting down for an exclusive interview with former Oregon guard Deja Kelly, talking about her experience recently with the Las Vegas Aces and going through training camp. You can catch Goodfollow every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings Network and wherever else you get your podcasts.